928-328-1088 or visit azmktholdings.com. Arizona Marketplace, 3351 South Avenue 4E.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you, and Johnny's in studio.
Good morning, Russ.
How are you doing, sir?
Doing great.
You enjoying the heat?
Not a second of it.
Man, I know it was 106 yesterday, but it felt like 190.
It did. It really did.
It's that dew point and humidity and everything was way up there, and man,
I'm ready for a break, man.
And it looks like it's not going to be for a week. This week's going to be still.
I checked yesterday because I was like, when are we going to get this break? And then I looked, and it is like a week. There's like a day that is supposed to go up to 111.
But it's not just the temperature. It's that dew point and that humidity and everything. It's thick.
It is.
That's all right. It's coming, Johnny, quick. I think we get impatient. I do. This time of year, I get ready.
Yeah, everybody's already posting about their pumpkin spice lattes and their fall clothes, and it's not here yet.
I gotta tell you, I stopped and I stopped drinking coffee a couple months ago, just when I wasn't feeling well. I stopped all caffeine. I since have gone back to 1 cup a day, early in the morning.
Okay,
1 cup, and I stopped at a 7-Eleven, got a one of them Harvest Spice things,
Oh, okay.
They make terrible coffee at 7-Eleven now. I don't like those.
Are you talking about Circle K? Where do we have a 7-Eleven?
Is it Circle K? Oh,
yeah.
Circle K. Circle K. They have that machine now where it makes it fresh for every cup is fresh and all that stuff. I've tried it a few times, and every time I do, I just get crap.
You don't like it, huh?
Bitter, terrible. I don't know. Do they clean the machines right before I get there or something?
I don't know, man. I don't. But some people swear by that coffee.
I guess. I don't think it's near as busy as it used to be. Oh, I wonder what their coffee sales have done since they've done that.
I don't know.
I'll stop at McDonald's and get a cup of coffee. It's great. McDonald's is fine. I don't stop at some of the other places because the lines are always around the block, and they're $10 for a cup of coffee. There's some of them out there, but I enjoy a good cup of coffee occasionally. I've limited myself to one.
But Circle K's too bitter.
Well, the one I just got was.
Oh, it was.
I dumped it out.
You did?
I didn't drink it. Couldn't drink it.
Oh, wow. That bad, huh?
Yeah. Just not good. So, I guess I didn't have coffee today.
Yeah. I haven't drank Circle K coffee in a while. And when I used to, I would put like a lot of sugar in there. So I wasn't drinking the actual coffee. It was more for the sugar. Yeah.
Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Springfield, Missouri.
Well, good morning. Is the weather a little better there, Mike?
Well, it is humid.
Yeah.
But it is 68 degrees. It dropped down to 50. We're talking about a 20-degree difference in the last 2 weeks.
Well, good. Then it's coming here, then, you say. Okay.
Yeah, just around the corner, I promise. It was in the 40s in Wyoming.
I got up early this morning, looked out for it, and I couldn't see it. Okay.
What's that?
I looked for it this morning, and I couldn't see it. It's not here yet. The cooler.
Figure what, 2 to 3 weeks?
The cooler weather. I can't see it yet. It's coming.
Right. Well, it was only 107, yesterday?
Yeah, but with the humidity and dew point, it felt like I was boiling lobster.
You were.
All right. What's going on there, buddy?
Hey, you want to catch up on some news that's soon going to be news that just hasn't hit the system yet?
Tell me what's on your mind. What is it?
Well, we have Burdal that was exchanged for 5 Taliban members, and Biden, if I can quote him, called it a good deal.
Right.
This was back in 2014.
Yeah, it's been a while. That was not a good deal. They should have kept Burdal.
Anything Biden says, flip it 180 and then run.
Yeah.
One of those guys is the governor of the province called Khost in Afghanistan. His name is Mohammed. I can't even pronounce his last name. And Mohammed is everybody's name.
Yes. Pretty popular name there when choosing babies in Afghanistan. Yeah.
Wazdal?
I'll take your word for it. Go ahead.
Anyway, he's the governor of Ghost province, and he was one of the 5 that was considered a good deal when they traded. Now, this guy was requested by the Taliban during the trade. They said, since we're going to do the trade, we want, and they named 2 guys, and one of them, this was this guy. He disappeared off the radar between 2014 and just before the insurgents.
Okay.
I found out Saturday where he was.
Where is he?
He was in Iran in a city called Sadie, Sadde. It's in the middle, up in the mountains. You can't bomb it. It's in a bomb-proof area. It's all rock and caves and stuff you see on Rambo.
All right.
He is credited with trading 30,000 surgeons. He opened up 4 camps in that area between 2014 and 2021. And you remember all those people that were infiltrated the Afghan army and policemen and school teachers and businessmen that were actually undercover dispersed in the Afghan country?
Yeah, so he trained them or something? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Now, these guys came out of Iran. They're Pashtun. That's the largest group of Afghanistans out there. It's like a majority, and so they speak the same accent, same everything, same beliefs. That he only trained Iranian Pashtuns and Afghan Pashtuns. Now the Taliban that came out of Pakistan, those are the boneheads. Those are the guys you see shooting guns in the air that behead you, that enforce the Sharia law. Okay, those are anybody out there. This guy trained these Pashtuns to blend in with everybody else. They don't leave a trail. The Afghan government has been looking for them, along with our military, ever since he's opened that camp, started sending them over. Taliban says there's about 30,000 of them that he trained.
Holy moly.
If you do the math, that's only about 1,000 a year per compound over the space of 8 years. So it's doable. I mean, we have elementary schools that take in more than 1,000 new students every year.
Well, they may be here too.
But these guys are educated. When they say they can't read, these guys can. They can do bombs, they can do knives, they can do guns. They're experts at blending in and being professional. To give you an example, 911 was only 30 people. Look at the damage they did.
I thought it was only 19.
Well, total of 30, but yeah, 19 up in the air and all that other stuff.
Okay.
But they came over in a group. Let's put it this way. A group came over of that size. They are bragging, since, and this hasn't hit the news, that the Taliban guarded the airport and they determined who got through and who did not.
Correct.
And got on the planes. They are bragging that they got between 8,000 to 10,000 of these specially highly trained people on the planes coming over to the United States.
You know, they're having a hard time vetting them right now. How do you get this information? Where are you getting this stuff now?
Right off WABC New York.
Okay.
And what they're saying is these guys are so good at blending in, and they've been vetted so many times. In other words, they had help from somebody in the Afghan government to get the paperwork and everything in order, and they were already in the groups when the insurgents started.
Oh.
During those 11 days, they were already there, ready to go. These are the guys you don't see coming.
Well, if they're here, I'm convinced our
Yeah.
intelligence offices will never find them.
You can vent them all day long. They are this guy was that good at training them and getting the paperwork. So obviously they had help in the Afghan government. Why not place people in the Afghan government to help these guys blend in?
I think they could. I think they could sit in front of our intelligence office with a note on their shirt saying, "I'm part of the terrorist group," and they wouldn't find them.
You know what? If I was one of those guys, I would say every Pashtun male, because remember, there's only males that got on that plane. A few kids and wives, but mostly males. I would deport every Pashtun male out there, knowing that you can't vent these guys.
Yeah.
They could be coming out of Iran, and they have Afghan paperwork with accents and education to match. I think there's somewhere. Yeah, go ahead.
I read early on these planes that left Afghanistan, only 8% were Afghanis.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, that just seems outrageously low. That's impossible almost. But that.
Yeah.
You believe you haven't read that? You haven't seen anything like that? But I haven't seen anything lately. But early on,
all I know is that most of them were male. I can't go by what country is what. I do believe that there's about 4,000 of these trained people that blended in with the Afghan government and population that they never could find. The U.S. couldn't find them. The Afghans couldn't find them. But you saw it all over when that insurgence started. It wasn't just, hey, we're marching through. It started, like the inside out.
Oh, I'm saying
is
it was immediate. Yeah, it was immediate, almost like a blitzkrieg. It was just and the entire Biden administration sitting there dumbfounded, like, oh man, I had no idea. Miley and all these other guys, and that's why I say our intelligence agency. I don't trust any of them.
Okay, according to Biden, the Taliban was 70,000 poured through Pakistan. They already had 30,000 highly trained, under the radar, living there in place. So you're talking over 100,000. But these guys, if you take one guy that can blend in, that's trained, that doesn't leave a trail, he's not the guy out there screaming Allah Akbar. He's not the guy out there enforcing Sharia law. He's the quiet guy.
Yeah.
And I think we've got them here. I think we've got, Taliban always exaggerates. If they're bragging 8 to 10, they've probably got 4,000. But that's only 1 in 20. If you break down how many was there lifted out, about 112, you think?
I don't know.
It's only 1 in 20, if you do the math, that are sitting here right now on the bases, military bases. At least they were smart enough to do that.
Yeah, before they turned them all loose in Florida. Yeah.
But you only need how many? Like that you said were involved? 13 for 911.
Yeah, 19. 19 were on the planes. Yeah, and 4 planes. Yeah.
I bet you there's 4,000 of those guys sitting that the Taliban let through that Biden airlifted to the U.S.
Yeah, that's all I did. They didn't rescue anybody. They just anybody that was on the tarmac. They said, "We'll give you a ride." That was it. That's all our military did. If you're on the tarmac, we'll give you a ride.
To give you an idea how dangerous this guy is, I'm going back to this Governor Cost. Most places they behead you in front of your house.
Yeah.
He takes you down to the street corner and leaves your body there. And if anybody attempts to clean up the mess, they could very well end up right there. So nobody touches it.
Oh, wow.
It'll just sit there. And this guy is known for going out with bodyguards, and if somebody's in the way or he doesn't like them, he just shoots them. And he's got a license to kill. He is the number 4 Taliban member.
Well, never heard of it before, but I'll start paying attention. It looks like they're going to be running things for a while.
Well, we're not going to hear it from Biden. I bet you Laura Logan knows.
Yeah.
She probably just hasn't dropped the
I'll check
numbers
with her.
yet.
Hey, Ben, I got to run. I appreciate the call.
Later.
Bye. That was Mike. I got to take a break. We'll be right back. AM 560, KBLU.
The overall weather pattern really doesn't change. High pressure is keeping us dry and limiting any sort of monsoon moisture. No signs of rain anytime soon. 107 today, mid-80s tonight, 107 the high tomorrow. To detect fever, COVID-19's leading symptom, it's critical to take an accurate temperature reading with the Exergen temporal scanner. It's the only thermometer whose accuracy has been proven in more than 100 clinical studies. Learn more at Exergen.com. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith from the Weather Channel.
Listen right here on 560 AM KBOU from 8 to 9 a.m. every Monday morning to Life, Death, and the Law, where Sean Garner and Adam Hansen discuss estate planning options. Spend Monday mornings 8 to 9 a.m. with Sean and Adam from Deason, Garner, and Hansen and learn how you can plan your estate using a will or a trust to protect your family and secure your legacy. That's Life, Death, and the Law every Monday morning from 8 to 9. Right here on 560 AM KBLU.
Precision of digital advertising as a marketing tool. What many early adopters are now learning is to really make the digital world work, they need to activate the marketplace with their brand first. Free over-the-air broadcast radio is the best way to activate in Yuma by combining the massive reach of radio and then adding the tactical precision of digital channels. You can give your business an unfair advantage. Learn how to make radio plus digital advertising work for you at yumaadvertising.com.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you, and Johnny's in studio. You know, my daughter this morning, Casey.
Yep.
Casey Monster. You know, she's on Facebook. She said, "Good morning, Dad." So, good morning, baby girl.
Aww.
And let me know when Caitlin gets up. I want to say good morning to Caitlin. So she has a good day going back to school. You know, Labor Day's over. Time to get back to school, Caitlin. Make sure you have a great day and all that. And I'll pick you up for dance later. I don't know what. Wait a minute, today's Tuesday. We don't even have dance on Tuesday anymore. Tuesday. I think Tuesday's a skip day now. You know, we changed our schedule.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Caitlin's still dancing a lot. She's just not dancing on Tuesdays anymore. So I get the day off. No Caitlin today.
Oh.
Well, I'll be all right. I just hope it doesn't affect her. Hey, Florida doctor is going to refuse to treat unvaccinated patients. Just put that thing. Now, he's the second doctor, she is the second doctor in the country to say, no soup for you.
Jeez.
I'm okay with it. I mean, it's a private practice.
Oh, it's a private practice. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's a primary care.
Oh, all right.
South Miami, you know.
But the other person was like an ER, though, right? I think the first one was in a hospital.
Dr. Jason Valentine out of Alabama. I don't think so.
Oh.
I mean, you can't do that and work for an ER and say, okay, pick up the guy in room 2. Has he been vaccinated?
Yeah,
you can't do that. That would be impossible. But for these primary care, I don't care.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
If they want to do their primary care, and if they want to say, hey, look, I'll only treat patients that speak Spanish, or I only treat Spanish, who cares?
Yeah, whatever.
It's a private business, and they can handle those things. That's no big deal. Now, if a hospital starts doing it, that starts limiting public access and stuff. That's terrible. But, Johnny, on a bigger scale, does it violate the Hippocratic Oath?
Ooh.
Now, as far
that's
as
a good question.
As far as in a, like if it was in an emergency room and somebody walked in, sick, and they go, I won't treat you because, like a gunshot wound sick. I won't treat you because you haven't been vaccinated. Well, I think there'd be all kinds of problems with all that. Mm-hmm. That would be that. But the same with and it's done somewhat. People that smoke cigarettes, and we've known it's a health risk. We know it's a cancer risk. We know emphysema. There's so many complications. If you have a baby and you're a heavy smoker, that baby's going to be in the hospital more often than a baby that is the baby of a non-smoker. Mm-hmm. We all know those from years of study and statistics. But no doctor's ever said, well, I'm not treating you if you smoke.
No, because it's not politicized the way it's this.
Well, yeah, it's not. It's not done. Doctors treat patients regardless of them being dummies. Well, like I eat wrong, I smoke, I do things that cause myself problems and do drugs or whatever. Doctors don't turn you away.
No,
they just say, "Hey, man, stop doing that." Right? They do
their best to tell people that.
Try to let you know that, hey, this is going the wrong way, type stuff. But now, and I know it's only 2 doctors, and I don't have a problem with small business guys saying, I want to specialize in those that have been vaccinated. But at what point is that going to become a problem for the industry, saying that, okay, doctors are going to now selectively choose which patients? Like in a busy place where there's like in Yuma at times, it's just hard to get a doctor. There's just so many. There's just so many doctors, and there's not enough quite often. So some doctors could afford to specialize and say, look, I only want people that are healthy, you know, and I don't want to handle any diabetes and all that and say, but I'm a primary care. So diabetes, overweight, smokers need not apply.
Yeah, definitely not a good direction to head into, but
No, I don't think it's necessarily good, and I wonder if it's going to be something that's going to be in contrary to the doctor's training of helping.
it sounds like it. It sounds like it would go against their oath.
Yeah, I would think.
I'm not totally familiar. Maybe a caller out there that's taken the Hippocratic Oath will.
This primary care doctor says it's a lack of selflessness. In other words, you're not helping everybody else. You're only worried about yourself.
That is so weird to say.
Yeah.
That is so weird to say.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means. What is it? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, they're saying, well, you know, and this is what's been advertised. You're killing other people because you're not vaccinated.
But you're a doctor. You should be smart enough to know that you're not killing other people.
No.
Maybe that's just not a smart doctor, you know?
I mean, the people with the vaccine transmit the disease, you know, so.
Yeah, so I don't. That's the thing. It's like maybe this doctor's. Maybe you want to stay away from him because he doesn't know how to read the studies and doesn't understand.
Well, it wouldn't be a doctor of my choice.
Right?
Okay, my fact checker.
Your fact checker. Okay, cool.
That's good.
What's going on?
The AMA has stated that denying treatment to anyone is a violation of their oath, but has stated that there is a carve-out for COVID-19, as did Medicare.
What?
Well, COVID-19 is political, so we can do a carve-out. That's not what my fact checker said. That's why I'm interpreting it. I mean, if you carve out one thing, it's political.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's political.
Yeah. So, wow. He says there's 122 docs denying access to non-vax folks in the nation. That's not a big percentage. I mean, it's less than 1%. But
yeah, but if stuff starts to get catch a wind, spark a fire, you know,
and here's a reason we talk about the FDA approved. Now, I read some things on the FDA this morning on what does it take to approve a vaccine? 5 to 10 years of study. Well, they took 5 to 10 weeks. So whose interest do you have in mind? You know, when you're doing that. That's my first question. They got it approved with the FDA on a rush emergency, but there was no reason to because everyone could take the vaccine anyway because the vaccine was approved for emergency use. So it wasn't a matter of, gosh, we've got to get it so people can take it. No, people were taking it. The reason that they had to do it was to give people opportunities to deny it. To deny them access. In other words, you can't work for me if you're not vaccinated.
Because it is FDA approved.
FDA approved. And it would be a problem if it was an emergency experimental medicine. Now it's not experimental or emergency anymore because it's FDA approved. So now companies can say, and they could always say it, but now they can say it with, you know, some legal backing that we're not going to get sued by trying to make someone take an experimental. It's not experimental anymore. FDA approved it in 5 to 10 weeks.
Well, they say, you know, on paper it's not experimental anymore, but obviously we know through the research and time it takes to approve a vaccine, which is normally, like you said, 5 to 10 years.
Well, and that I got by reading this morning, you know, just Google what's the process. And the process is going through, you know, mountains of paperwork and documentation and usage on the experimental usage and animal use, which they didn't even do. They didn't do all that. So you can't study it because they didn't do it. So it's just, okay, 5, 10 weeks, we can get you approval. And now companies like Delta, American Airlines, and others can say part of our requirement is that you are mandated to take this vaccine because it's FDA approved. You know, they've got cover from the legal system, supposedly. I mean,
and even if you read some of the different proclamations or from the governors that blocked a mandate, they stated, whereas it is an experimental vaccine, you know. So now they're going to have to go back, like in Texas, he has to go back and rewrite it because now it's not an experimental vaccine. Right. So he has to go back.
They assumed it was going to be experimental for the next 5 years minimum.
Which you would assume that because that's been the MO
history, and that's what it takes FDA to approve something like that, like a vaccine. Is 5 years minimum, 5 to 10 years, everything I read. 5 to 10 years. Or 5 to 10 weeks if it's politically advantageous.
Ooh.
Man.
Heavy.
So what does that do? Does that give you confidence in the drug? Does that give you confidence in the vaccine? That was FDA approved? Is that a confidence builder for you now?
That's a good question. I would like to know that.
I mean, if they went to 5 to 10 years, it's still suspect because we still have vaccines that, have too many problems. They have to end up pulling them, right? And that's after they've been FDA approved.
You know what's interesting is that a lot of information comes out in light of these certain circumstances, and you see how many things have been pulled after the FDA approved them. All those. If you've been affected by blah 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 blah, a lot of those commercials where they have these class action lawsuits are from substances or medications that the FDA approved. So it's still like
and something else. And Sandy just it was someone else texted me this morning. Tobacco industry denied for years the health effects, which is true. And they had doctors saying this. And in fact, the old ads for the health of tobacco was 4 out of 5 doctors recommend Marlboro or something. They always had those and stuff.
It's hard to believe that those are even real ads.
They were. I remember them as a kid. Profit mattered more, but it's worse than that. FDA has to approve all tobacco products. Mm-hmm. So your Marlboro cigarettes are FDA approved.
No way. Man, this has been a learning process for me, Russ.
Yeah, they're FDA approved. Now, the FDA still says there's health risk, but...
Oh, so they approve them with
They approve that it's a safe health risk.
It's one we're gonna we're gonna let you take. A risk we're gonna let you take.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
You'll be. I don't know, man.
Yeah, only smoke those cigarettes that are FDA approved. We'll be right back. AM 560.
Hi, Jill. How's your father doing in hospice?
Oh, not good, Susan. Not good at all. His nurse hasn't seen him in over a week, and she said she'll visit him when she gets a chance.
Have you called Hospice of Yuma, the community nonprofit hospice provider? They have the lowest patient-to-nurse ratio in our area.
Does their nonprofit status really make a difference?
Yes, Jill, it really does. Their priority is on caring for the patient, not on increasing profitability. Let's call them and get your father what he deserves.
Hospice of Yuma, nonprofit hospice care. There is a difference.
In today's Farm and Ranch headlines from AgNet West, congressional committees are continuing to work on their portions of the budget reconciliation process. More after this.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our determination, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is growing the next generation of leaders. Support us at 4h.org.
AgNet West Radio Network, your trusted agriculture news provider for the state of Arizona. Stay up to date with accurate local and national agriculture news on this station or by visiting us online at agnetwest.com. Get even more connected by following us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by searching at AgNet West, and our team of Brian German at Brian German AgNet West and Danielle Leal with at D Leal AgNet West.
Vice President of Washington Operations for the National Cotton Council, Reese Langley, explained what the timeline looks like for finalizing the budget.
There's a tentative deadline for committees to complete their work by September 15th. The House Agriculture Committee has scheduled a markup for its portion on September 10th, and it's unclear if all the committees will be able to meet the September 15th deadline, but we do expect to see more action on the reconciliation package later in September. As part of that, we still have serious concerns about some of the tax policy changes that are being looked at as potential pay-fors for some of this $3.5 trillion package. And so the National Cotton Council, along with a number of other ag groups, are continuing to weigh in with members of Congress and leadership expressing our concern.
I'm Brian German for AgNet West Radio Network.
Be sure to listen for the border and traffic reports weekdays on this station, brought to you by RV World. They have a large selection of both new and used RVs. Exit Interstate 8 at Araby Road, then west on Gila Ridge about a quarter mile. That's RV World.
You may be right, I may be crazy.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you, and it's Johnny in studio. What time is it, Johnny? It's 6:34. I'm just looking to see if my grandchild's up yet. No,
not
yet. But,
man.
But I have Lori on the phone. How about that? Lori, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. You guys are talking about the COVID. I have a cousin, her daughter in Arkansas. Her doctor highly recommended her daughter to get the COVID because her little girl that she has compromised. So she did. And the next day she was throwing up blood. She was 42, perfectly healthy. She started throwing up blood. They took her to the hospital. Then they rushed her to Little Rock. Then they put her on 2 days after that, a ventilator. And Friday, she died Friday morning.
Oh, my God, Lori.
They would not give her ivermectin. They would not give her hydroxychloroquine. They said no.
It's not.
And they wouldn't talk about the shot. And she died of COVID and pneumonia.
Now, she died of COVID after taking the vaccine.
Yep.
She didn't die of
Not even a whole 5 days. No.
And they,
42 years old, left a husband and 2 little girls.
so they're not saying it's the vaccine that caused the complication. They're saying it was the disease.
Yeah, they wouldn't talk about the shot that she had the day after she threw up blood when she came in. That was why she went in.
She went in because
terrible.
The day after she took the shots when she got sick.
Yep, it was Johnson & Johnson. It's on our Facebook. Yeah, a picture of her.
That's
beautiful girl. She looks like she's about 28.
absolutely horrible.
But she died Friday morning. I know.
But they didn't list it as an adverse effect of the.
Nope, they said no. They would not give her. They said, can we give her the antibiotic cocktail, the ivermectin? My cousin in Florida, she lives in Tampa, and she said they are giving that stuff free to people, and they would not offer that to her.
Yeah, Lori, I'm sorry, and I'm hearing, I'm reading more and more of these kinds of things, but they're anecdotal, and it's hard to pick them up. But they're not getting blasted on the paper like in years past when we had like the swine flu in the 70s and stuff, and we had a vaccine that didn't work. That stuff that blew up on the headlines.
Right.
But we're not doing any of that.
My question to you, the flu shot's coming. Everybody's wanting the flu shot. Do you think they're going to mix a little of the COVID in with all the viruses?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Nothing surprises me anymore.
I'm getting it. I've had it every year for 30 years, and this year we had COVID last December. I don't need anything else. My mom is in a nursing home, and she had COVID during Christmas, and I will not let them give her a shot. It almost killed her. So she just had COVID. So now I tell them in the nursing home, she gets locked down. I said, well, I'd take her and myself, and I'd sit in a room full of people, and I'd eat, and I wouldn't worry
Lori,
because we've got immunity.
Get ready for a rough time because we got more and more businesses that are requiring you to get the shot. It's mandatory.
I know.
There's going to be nursing homes out there, I guarantee you, that are going to be mandatory. And
yeah, I won't let them. I said no, and I mean they're fine with that. She's had COVID.
Okay. Well, so far they're fine.
She sat in rooms for three different places and with people in the COVID units, and she comes out negative still.
Well,
I know.
There's going to become
more people saying no.
There's going to become more pressure, so you got to be tough if you say no. And
yeah, I know, but if we do, we might die like my cousin just did.
There's people losing jobs so that they cannot get a shot.
There's people losing their lives.
Yeah, people lose their lives too. Lori, I'm sorry to hear it. Thank you so much for sharing and letting us know.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. What a tough deal, man.
Yeah, that's horrible.
And I read some reports this morning. I don't even remember the numbers, but the numbers are, there's a lot of adverse effects, thousands of adverse effects. That doesn't mean death.
Mm-hmm.
There's deaths also, but it's kind of hard to gather the information. It's not easily obtained. It's not like the like I can say how many people have had COVID and had the shot, and boom, it's up on my internet. Boom, everything's boom.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Right there. It's everywhere. You can't get this adverse effects very easily, and then it's suspect when you get it. So
yeah, I think that they have the VAERS website where you can go and look at it.
Yeah, but that's why I asked her, was it reported? No, so it's not going to show her.
Yeah, it won't
this
show
case
up.
will not show up
It
on
won't
the
show up.
VAERS. I don't think they're registering it, but yet everybody that has a cough is registered to COVID. Anybody has a symptom after the shot? No. that's anecdotal. Those are just from things like Lori.
Yeah, so I guess we just got to use our own intelligence and make our own judgment call after hearing these anecdotal stories. And
yeah, because you don't know how to put it together. We're not getting a lot of information on everything. We're not getting thorough information.
No.
We get some information. It's just not complete. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Morning, fellas. Doc in the Foothills.
Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, Doc.
Morning. I sent it to you, Russ. Basically, what it boils down to is why these doctors will not use the ivermectin and so forth treatment is because the government set it up where if they don't follow the protocol, which is not using that, they will become liable if there's any problem. So, in other words, if they stay using the protocol, not using hydroxychloroquine or the ivermectin, vitamin D, and so forth, if they don't follow that procedure, then it all boils down to lawyers and money.
I read that. That was a video, wasn't it?
There's the video you talk about was the graphene oxide.
Yeah.
I sent that to you. That's really what's causing the problem.
But anyway, I believe all that because, there are protocols in hospitals and you don't deviate from the hospital.
That's right.
The hospital has the control of that. And if they do it for reasons just like you stated, sometimes it's insurance reasons and everything else. Like their insurance companies and everything will accept the risk as long as you stay in the protocols.
Yes, but they aren't liable for laws. If the patient dies, they aren't liable. If they go away from that procedure, then they're up crick, and they lose $30,000 a patient, something like that.
Yeah, correct. When you go to court and you're in a civil court, and the question is, did you follow the common practice procedures? Yes, I did.
And I get so disgusted when I turn the radio on before you come on, and in 5 minutes there were 2 ads pushing for you to get the vaccine to make everybody safe.
Yeah, I know.
It's just so utterly disgusting. I keep saying every time I talk to you, I can't believe it that this is our country. The way they've just brainwashed everybody. Panic. I also sent you one with the lowest death rate. I mean, the death rate in people, old farts like me, is like 96% don't die from this problem. 96%. And how many people are having problems with the shot? Higher than that. But some of these places, half the people have had a couple of shots and they're hospitalized. Makes no sense to me, other than you don't want the shot. But that's a personal discussion.
That is a personal decision. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, take her easy.
Bye-bye. And my fact checker says I'm in violation of YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook rules by stating there was a reaction to the COVID shot, as the FDA has stated these reactions. Has not stated these reactions actually happened. I'm waiting on the FDA. Well, actually, I was given an anecdotal information about a person that was stated as it didn't happen from the shot, but it happened the day after the shot. But I think I can state that.
You'll be all right. You'll be all
right. I'm not. Am I in violation? Probably every day.
Yeah.
Probably every day. You're sending me photos too. Feel bad about those kind of things. I would like to get more information, and the adverse effects, and stuff. I mean, they're not, we get a daily COVID thing in the paper every day of how many people were infected and stuff like that. How many people died in human and how many people were infected. Well, we should get a daily thing on the adverse effects from the vaxes.
You won't get that because if you look at who owns a lot of these media companies, they're also tied in with the pharmaceutical companies.
There is a push to get everyone vaccinated and a push already for booster shots, which we'll talk about.
Coming soon.
We'll be right back. AM 560, KVOU.
There's never been a better time to switch to Spectrum Mobile. You could save hundreds of dollars on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator today, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you could save by switching. Visit spectrummobile.com/save. Spectrum Internet required. Savings may vary. Restrictions apply. Visit spectrummobile.com/save for details.
Summer heat is on the way. Time to check or replace your air conditioning system. This is Russ Clark from my friends at Quick Refrigeration. Yes, new systems are still 30 to 40% more efficient than a unit 10 years old. So call Quick Refrigeration, your trusted technician, keeping you cool since 1955. Also, experts in plumbing and tankless water heaters. Don't wait until your AC system goes down. Call the best in town, Quick Refrigeration.
Quick refrigeration, quick refrigeration. We get you cool quick.
Millions of Americans are preparing for food shortages. No wonder. With increasing bizarre news headlines, water shortages, and the trucking crisis, we're seeing the early warning signs. Food shortages can happen overnight, catching you completely by surprise. That's why it makes good sense to secure some emergency food kits while you can. Emergency food that stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage, unlike grocery store food that goes bad fast. The company to trust is My Patriot Supply. We've served millions of American families in recent years. Our food kits give you over 2,000 calories a day, which is what your body needs under stress to survive. We ship fast and discreet to your door. You'll have your food within days, too, not weeks or months. Our mission is your survival. And our food could definitely be a lifesaver when the peanut butter hits the fan. So don't wait. It's time to act. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
We gotta get out of this place. If it's the last thing we ever do, we gotta get
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. Johnny's in studio. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, and I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I'll read more about that Israel stuff. You know, and they are having high rates, even though they're heavily vaccinated. They have high rates, and the more we know about that, the better.
Yes, sir. I think so.
Well, let's talk about booster shots. The health agencies advise they need more data before issuing guidance. That was the headline. So before we do booster shots, they want more data. That makes sense.
That's smart.
Does make sense. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning, Mike.
Good
morning.
That vaccine and everything, we all get injected with the virus and forego the vaccine, and so I mean, you got a better rate with having the virus, and you do the vaccine there. So,
well, I don't think it's better. I don't think so, but I don't know. We're void of a lot of information, Mike. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. But it seems like that the cure is worse than the darn virus, though. You know,
in some age groups, it is. In younger ages, young ages, and they want.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they want to push it. What, to grade school kids or something?
Oh, jeez.
Which England just kiboshed that. They stopped it. They said no.
Well, good. Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay, but
thank you, man.
But we know so much in this country, though. You know, I mean, nobody can tell us anything, right?
Yeah, we don't. We're not given all the informations, unfortunately. So, yeah, we're not smart enough to figure it out. Thank you, buddy.
No.
Take care. Bye bye.
All right, bye.
Yeah, that's just it. They can't give us it all. We're not smart enough to understand it. So, no, but the COVID booster shots, health agencies are not advising to get them. The guidance from the Food and Drug Administration and guidance and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is that both agencies so far have only accumulated enough data to suggest that some individuals who received the Pfizer vaccine should get a booster shot. That's it.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it's not going to stop Biden, because earlier this month, Biden did the plan for every adult to get a booster shot 8 months after getting the second shot. Now, where in the heck do you pull 8 months out of? What hat does that come out of?
Okay, so wait a minute. So the FDA and the CDC both say we need more data, but our president
says 8 months.
Says 8 months.
Yeah, he just came up with it.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Well, no, but Dr. Janet Woodcock, acting commissioner for the FDA, Dr. Rochelle Welsky, head of the CDC, urged caution and advised that their agencies need more time before approving any further action regarding booster shots.
Okay, so I'm going to go back. So Biden
said, no, 8 months.
So where is he getting his information from, or his directives, or
I don't know.
Why would he say that?
He's reading a cue card somewhere. I don't know. The White House decision comes amid surge of the highly transmittable Delta variant of the COVID-19, which studies have shown to double the risk of hospitalizations for unvaccinated individuals. They keep throwing the unvaccinated out there, as, the unclean, the unwashed.
The unclean, yeah, which is not true if you look at Israel's data, but yeah.
Yeah. So they're saying 8 months is because people are getting in the hospital, so we have to do something. That's why.
Oh, okay. So he's just throwing it out there like, yeah, got to do something. Throw anything at a wall, see if it sticks.
Well, Jen Psaki actually explains it better than I just did.
Okay.
Can I read that to you?
I'm excited.
Well, first of all, we always lead with the science. So as long as you throw the word science out, well, we're okay. She then referred to the health agency saying they reviewed mountains and mountains of available data on vaccine effectiveness and made a clinical judgment that boosters would be needed. And wait a minute. Boosters would be needed. I just read it to you on what the leaders of those organizations said.
And they said they don't have enough data.
Don't have enough data. And announced a plan to begin them in September, subject, of course, to the FDA and CDC process to continue. Well, they just said no. Biden said 8 months. And Psaki said, well, we're following the science, not the scientists.
Yeah, she used that the $1 million word right now.
Yeah, we're following the science. Oh, no, I can't argue now. Yeah, because I followed science. What science?
That's what I want to know. What science? Oh no, you did. What'd you say a few weeks ago? That's the political science that they're following.
So the White House claimed that it will continue to follow science and that it's part of the process that is now underway, and the administration awaits full approval of booster shots. Well, if you're following the science, how do you know you're going to get approval?
Yeah. That's a great article, man. I never heard this.
So you're definitely going to get a booster shot push coming because
before the science gets there, apparently.
Well, apparently they've already told you what the science is going to say.
Oh, that's it. They know what the science is going to say.
Who do you think controls the science? Money is science. Science is funded by money, and that money comes from the federal government. It's got strings attached.
Oh, okay, yeah,
grants and things,
I think was it Dr. Lee? He who was it that you had on?
Yeah, Merritt. Now.
Yeah, Lee Merritt. Yeah, she had brought that up.
Yeah, a lot of these docs have to be cautious because they're living off of government funding.
Mm-hmm.
So when the government comes out and says, "Hey, we need to know the science on why we need a booster shot,"
that's. I'm looking at the article.
That's all possible, right?
It's. They know what the science is going to say, apparently.
I guess so. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Russ and Johnny. How are we doing this morning?
We're doing well, Carl. Good morning,
Carl.
Got a question for you.
Yeah.
How many people have been killed in Chicago this week, and how many people have died from COVID?
I don't know the answer. I haven't done the research. I'm hoping you have.
Well, I haven't, but I would bet my money that more people shot in Chicago than there are died from COVID.
In Chicago, you mean? Yeah. That's possible.
Yeah.
I think I read there was 53 and there was 8 kids
killed.
Yeah, 8 of them were. Yeah,
not killed.
Killed.
No, not 50. Oh, in a week. Yeah, maybe in a week. Not over the week.
No, in a weekend.
Nah, that's too high.
No, that's what they give weekend.
Johnny, I'm going to have to challenge you this weekend. Get my fact.
It could have been shot. It could have been shot. Maybe shot. But
that's still too many, isn't it? But, for my 2 cents for on a humid Tuesday, there's a man named Larry Elder. He's the first black Republican running for the governor in California. And if he wins, does that make us real racist, or what does that make the Republican Party? They keep calling us racist. But we got a black Republican running for a governor in California and has a damn good chance of winning.
He is the black face of white supremacy. Have you not been paying attention? That's exactly what a news commentator on CNN called him. Yes. I think it was yesterday.
Right.
The black face of white supremacy. That's just, it's so over the top. You can't believe, I wouldn't have believed these kind of things would even be said 5 years ago. This is crazy.
Yeah. And I bet that's a Democrat that's saying that, Russ.
Yeah. Of course it is.
But,
of course it is. But now,
in fact,
white supremacy is going to have to be morphed into something other than, just having Caucasian race. It's going to have to be, white supremacy is going to be living in all of us shortly, I guess. Even Larry Elder, he's the black face of it. It's just a ridiculous thing to say. It's gone over the top of trying to, make up new standards and make up new issues. Of course, I guess it started before that. Judge Thomas. He was attacked like crazy, being a black man that was a conservative for the Supreme Court. They did all they could to criminalize him, but it didn't work.
Yep.
Yep.
And another one I name Bo Snerdley that used to be take care of Rush. Show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I listened to that man for many, many years, and I did not know that Bo was a black man. I guess it doesn't make any difference.
Well,
people
yeah, there was a time in our country, like yesterday, when we didn't have to state the race of everybody. It was just a person. Yeah. I guess that's changed quickly. We got to know their race now before we listen to them. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that was I laughed at myself real loud, knowing because I really don't care.
Well, no, it shouldn't matter. But the news stories now, a black man was shot by a white man who ran over 2 Chinese people. Who cares? It's just people.
Who cares?
Yes.
I'm worried about the guy that got shot and run over.
Exactly. I know. It's gotten ridiculous.
Anyway,
appreciate it, man.
Have a beautiful humid day.
You too, man.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
yeah. Don't remind us.
Okay, you were wrong on Chicago.
Yeah, it was
wrong,
shooting.
and I knew it was wrong.
Yeah, it was shooting.
There's no way 59 died. A big number would be 14, 15.
Yeah, it was
a big number. My fact checker was on the ball because I'm doing other things, and I've got a fact checker you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
But 6 people killed and 59 wounded in Chicago.
Yeah.
At least 65 shot this Labor Day weekend in Chicago. At least 8 of the victims were children, including a 4-year-old boy who was killed in a shooting in Woodlawn. 121 deaths this weekend reported nationwide from COVID. Nationwide, though, 121. How many wounded from COVID? Because that's reality, too.
Yeah.
Go to the hospital with all that kind of stuff. 121 wounded. 121 deaths from COVID nationwide. 6 deaths in Chicago. You may be right. There may be more murders nationwide.
Could be more, nationwide
than COVID. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Carl brings up an interesting.
Yeah. Well, he's always working. Oh, Gilbert wants to call. The answer is no, Gilbert. Because I'm running up to the top of the hour. You can call me next hour. I got plenty of time today. It's Tuesday. I don't have any scheduled guests, so we'll get back to it. I talked a little bit about the British health officials. They refuse to approve shots for healthy children between the ages of 12 and 15. Why is that? Why are they cold-hearted? Do they not like kids?
That would be the spin.
Are they being mean?
Oh, do
they want the kids' parents to die from COVID?
Right now, some political person is writing that down. These are good, Russ. We're going to use these.
We're trying to kill grandma off.
That's going to be headlines now
because we don't want the kids to be vaccinated at the age of 12 to 15. Ministers have asked the officials to review the guidance in light of possible issues that might arise as the school term gets underway. The current guidelines would allow for teens with underlying conditions or vulnerable parents to get the shot. Now, and that's a personal decision. But if your parents are vulnerable and you think that's going to be something that you want to have in your life, then yeah, great, go for it. My body, my choice.
Mm-hmm.
That is a slogan from the abortionist.
Mm-hmm.
My body, my choice. They stopped using it. Did you know that?
Yeah. How could they use it now?
I can't use it. My body, my choice. I mean, because it's in political defiance to their other narratives, which is you must take the vaccine, and because that's my choice that you get a vaccine.
It's my choice. Yep.
It's my choice that you get a vaccine.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But it's not your choice that I get an abortion or not.
I'm just confused all around, man.
Yeah. Well, it's about the narratives of the parties. You know, Democrats want you to take a vaccine whether you want it or not, and they want to get an abortion whether you think it's murder or not. So they got to change their slogans. My body, my choice is not going to be one of them anymore. We'll be back. It's Top of the Hour.
From the 1 Hour Air Conditioning and Heating Studio, this is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.
40 million COVID cases. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's the new pandemic milestone.
Johns Hopkins also says that daily infections are more than 4 times what the U.S. saw last year on Labor Day weekend. USA Today reports that daily deaths are almost twice as high this year as opposed to 2020.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. It's after Labor Day, so some schools are reopening this week. COVID has also been going back to class, causing trouble in schools that opened earlier. Fox's Jeff Manasso has this live.
Dave, a large number of reported COVID cases among students and staff has the Burnett, Texas School District shutting down all campuses today and tomorrow for deep cleaning, and comes as hospitals throughout Texas report shortages of ICU beds.
This whole surge, candidly, is two things. It's primarily the Delta variant, and the Delta variant is going after, for the most part, the unvaccinated.
Stephen Love, president of the DFW Hospital Council. This also, as the Wall Street Journal reports, at least 1,000 schools in 31 states have also closed since classes began due to COVID cases. Dave.
Jeff, about 100 Americans remain in Afghanistan, and Secretary of State Anthony Blinken in Qatar for talks says some are trying to leave at an airport, but disputes a congressman's claim they're being held hostage. Blinken says the Taliban's offering safe passage.
They will let people with travel documents freely depart. We will hold them to that. So will dozens of other countries.
President Biden's about to take off for New York City, where Hurricane Ida's remnants hit hard. He'll also go to Manville, New Jersey. Fox's Alex Hogan's there.
Every single house on this street has belongings covered on their sidewalk. Everything from carpets to electronics to furniture. 50 people died in the Northeast. 27 of those deaths happened here in New Jersey.
There's even more damage in Louisiana. More than 400,000 homes and businesses still have no power. Some might not get plugged back until October. America's listening to Fox News.
20 years after 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is honoring heroes big time. Mortgage-free homes for 200 heroes. Frank Stiller walks more than 500 miles through 6 states, August to 9/11. Those we lost to 9/11 illness and service members we lost in the War on Terror are having their names read aloud for the first time. Help America to never forget. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org.
Warner Brothers Pictures presents Cry Macho, the story of being lost and found as Clint Eastwood returns as Mike Milo, a one-time rodeo star who then takes a job from an ex-boss to bring the man's young son home from Mexico. The unlikely pair face a challenging journey. The only road home is through redemption. Now, you'll be able to see it in theaters and on HBO Max for 31 days, September the 17th. It's rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for kids.
YumaDailyNews.com on News Talk 560 KBLU is brought to you by Half Off Yuma. Get our half off deals right now. Go to KBLUAM.com and click on Yuma Half Off for this week's savings.
Here's the news in 60 seconds, YumaDailyNews.com. The deadline is nearing tomorrow for baseball signups in San Luis. You can get all the information you need if you're interested in playing America's greatest pastime at YumaDailyNews.com. The veterans of foreign wars will be holding a special 20-year anniversary memorial service of September 11th. Get more info on our website. The library in San Luis will host its 7th annual art exhibition between September 16th to October 16th in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. Read all about it at YumaDailyNews.com. Yuma's Park and Rec have released a new fall and winter activity guide. The guide does provide info about upcoming holiday festivities like heritage festivals on historic Main Street. You can download a digital copy through our website. And a new study says North Carolina has been the worst in wages and worker protections. A report by Oxfam's Best and Worst States to Work in America 2021 has said other southern states ranking near the bottom were Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, and South Carolina. For now, that's the news. I'm Andrew Caravella.
Explore the great outdoors this fall with Kokopah Casino. Each drawing, you have the chance to win great outdoor prizes, cash, or rewards play. Drawings every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday through October 29th. On October 30th, one lucky winner will ride away with a 2021 Forest River travel trailer. Earn entries daily by playing your favorite slots and table games with your rewards card. For complete rules, see the Kokopah Casino Rewards Club. Winning is just around the corner at Kokopah Casino and Resort, South Highway 95 in Somerton.
Derek Egeberg, branch manager with Academy Mortgage here, NMLS number 180899 with Academy Mortgage, inspiring hope, delivering dreams, and building prosperity, where we help individuals and families build a foundation for their future by providing opportunities to obtain home ownership through unique products and services. Academy Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 3113, Arizona license number 0904081.
Achieve Human Services.
Unique individuals, empowering solutions.
Cost of landscape, maintenance, supplies, and equipment? Thousands of dollars. Time it takes to mow, trim shrubs, trash pickup, and sweep off the walkways? 6 hours. Having Achieve Human Services maintain your business's property? Priceless. Achieve Human Services, helping people with unique abilities realize their greatest potential through employment opportunities. For more information, call Achieve Human Services at 928-341-0335. That's 928-341-0335.
Achieve Human Services.
Unique individuals, empowering solutions.
There's something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you, and Johnny's in studio.
Yes, sir.
I have Gilbert on the phone. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Pretty good song you got there in the background. Russ, Buffalo Springfield.
Well, see, I knew you liked that old stuff, so I like it too, so I'll put it on for you.
Yes, sir. Reason I called Russ is two things. One, I had a good friend of mine just passed away last Monday from COVID, and he had the shot. Him and his wife both had the shot, and they both got COVID.
Wow.
So he passed away.
It's too bad.
Vietnam vet, God bless him. You know, it was all. Another thing I'm going to ask you, Russ, during the pandemic, weren't a whole bunch of nurses working there without the shot?
They still are.
Right. Now they're being forced to take the shot. If they don't take the shot, they're going to get fired.
Only in some hospitals. It's not universal yet. But they made that move because it's FDA approved. So they said, it's approved. Now we can force you. Right.
Yeah, but whether it's one hospital, many hospitals, or all the hospitals, the fact that they're doing that. I have a friend of mine that his daughter has up until next week, I believe, or at the end of this month, to take the shot, or she's terminated from her job.
Yep, it's happening. So if you're not going to take the shot, you better expect hardship and expect that kind of stuff to come. It's going to happen.
Whatever happened to our Constitution of the United States of America? Oh, wait a minute. We have an emergency, so that's why we lost our Constitution.
Well, the Constitution took a shot, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to repair it all. All right.
My body, my choice doesn't apply to here.
Isn't that funny? They stopped using it because of COVID.
Yes, exactly. And what's her name? Our Speaker of the House, she's more concerned about the abortion the law passed in Texas. She's worried about 13 servicemen getting killed.
They are having a meltdown. I mean, Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer are just going nuts. Merrick Garland, from the DOJ, whatever we can do, it's got to stop. This is a terrible violation of the Constitution. What are you talking about, violation of the Constitution? And
exactly.
please point that out to me. And they're afraid now that women are not going to get health care. Well, killing babies is not health care, okay? It's not. It's an abortion.
Wait a minute. There's something wrong with what you just said and what they're saying, because it was voted on, I believe.
Even by the Supreme Court, it was supported by the Supreme Court. That said it was a legal law, and that is
right.
And they're not forbidding it. They're just saying that you can get sued. You're losing your anonymity. You're not free to do it. You can be sued.
Right.
If you help or perform one. Yeah.
But what I'm getting at, it wasn't forced like they're forcing the vaccine. There was a group of men that got together and they talked about it, and they said, "No, we can't do it that way anymore."
Yeah. Well, they're not letting this thing go. This thing is going to. I mean, they're going to scream and yell. They're not going to put up with this. They've even talked about, and now this big charge to pack the courts. Well, oh my gosh, we need to pack the courts because they're taking away our abortion rights.
Exactly. And one more thing before I go, Russ.
Mm-hmm.
Wag the tail, wag the dog.
Yeah.
With all this COVID and stuff, all the murders throughout the United States, remember they used to report it all the time. In Washington, there were 23 people shot this weekend. Chicago, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
They're not doing that anymore.
No, you can still find it. There was 59, actually. We do know that.
Right, you can find it, but it's not on the news media like it was in the last few years. Every day, every week.
And why do you suspect? Why do you think? Why do you think they did that?
Because they want more attention on COVID. It's wagging the tail or wagging the dog.
Partially, but it's also because it puts the Democrats in bad light. And they got to support the narrative of the Democratic Party.
Exactly. And like I said the other day, when are the communities themselves going to take actions for their own hardships? Quit depending on the government and everybody else but yourself.
The trend is the opposite of that, Gilbert. You know that. The trend is the opposite.
I do. But we need to bring it out and blare it out. Take responsibility of your actions. And your community is your action. Even though you're not involved, it's still your community and it's actions that surround you.
See, they can light a police car on fire, hold the torch in their hand, and still sing that song, "We Didn't Light the Fire."
Yeah, exactly.
Was that Billy Joel?
Billy Joel.
Yeah, Billy Joel.
Yeah,
okay.
Billy Joel, right.
Yeah, we didn't light the fire.
Yeah, we like it. Anyway, I'm like, Carl, I'm going to go out and have myself a nice day. I did all my chores already this morning, so now I'm just going to kick back.
Thank you, buddy. Bye-bye.
Oh, it's called retirement.
Yeah. I hear your retirement. I don't think you're in retirement because I talked to your better half. She said you're not retired.
Yeah, you know my better half.
Yeah, get better. Get back to work. See ya.
Yes, sir.
Hey, look, I got a few messages from my fact checker.
What's going on?
Well, we started talking about how many deaths from COVID, and he said 121 death. From COVID, 121 this weekend from COVID. And then we said, well, how many murders? Because you brought that up about how many murders.
That was Carl, but yeah.
Was it Carl?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think you asked the question.
But yeah.
Yeah, but the 10 major cities in the U.S. this weekend, there were 119 murders. In 10 major cities, which he says is 1/10 the population, we had the same number of deaths as COVID. So, my report to him was, we should shut down their economy.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what we do for COVID,
That's what we do, I guess. That's the move.
Yeah. Let me see. Per the World Health Organization, obesity has reached epidemic proportions, with at least 2.8 million people dying in 2020 as a result of being overweight or obese.
So how do we even get those numbers, though?
I don't know. But I think all deaths are registered and recorded with the CDC, and they do track and all that. But I think, but what do they list as the cause of death? I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. How do you have a cause of death? Oh, you're obese.
If you're obese, which causes complications.
That's what I'm saying. It causes so many different complications.
Right, like diabetes, heart disease, and a lot of other things. But let's say you're overweight, you're obese, and you die of heart disease as a complications of obesity, and you had COVID. all at the same time. So what do you die of?
Well, you know the answer they're going to put on that.
Well, we're primarily COVID, but won't they also list heart disease? Won't they also list obesity? I don't know how that all works out. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be a lot of contributing factors. Let's say you smoked 3 packs of cigarette a day, you're obese, you have COVID, and you die of heart disease. What killed you? Well, doctors, have to put someone on the best death certificate. They do. Right now, it's COVID.
It seems to be. Yeah, it seems to be. That's what they're doing.
Well, there seems to be a government, payoff.
Yeah, early on, I remember reading about that they were getting paid for how many.
Yeah, I think it still goes on.
Oh, it's still happening.
But I don't know if that's Medicare, Medicaid, or what it is. But there is some. I'd have to look it up. I don't remember what it is. But if they took the money and shifted it to heart disease, well, we'd see a flipping of what they died of. It would change.
Yeah, because you provide incentive.
Yeah. I also said the state Supreme Court did not state that Texas law was legal. They stated that the parties who sued had no standing to contest the law, which makes sense. Let me see. Caitlyn Jenner, California gubernatorial recall candidate Caitlyn Jenner on Texas law effectively banning abortions. I am for a woman's right to choose. I am also for a state having the ability to make their own laws. So I support Texas in that decision. That's their decision. What?
Well, the state, the Texas law doesn't say that you don't have the right to choose. It says that you have the right to be sued if. Like so that's a difference. So they're not. If you look at the law, it's not saying that a woman can't get abortion, and so it's a lot of scaring, you're not going to be able. No, they're still able to, but now there's liability, which I think everybody should have some liability.
Psaki got a little bit of her ears pinned back a little bit on this abortion issue because she attacked one of the reporters like, "Well, I'm a woman and I know what it is to have a baby, and you can't know that." But in today's culture, it's birthing person, not woman. And now they say that man can officially have a baby. So Psaki needs to rewrite her comments.
Yeah, she forgot her talking points.
She says, "I'm a birthing person. I don't know if you've been one."
I guess that would be the way to say it.
That would be the way to say it now. I don't know if you've been one. Not, you're a man. You don't know us. You don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't say that anymore.
No.
Not if you're. I mean, I can.
Yeah, because we use real science
I use science, but in today's political correctness, it's birthing person.
Birthing persons, huh?
Yeah, you can't judge a man.
Yeah, because you don't know.
You don't know, so shut up. We'll be right back. AM 560.
Are you struggling to find quality employees? Tired of placing the same old Sunday classifieds or getting lost in the online job boards and getting the same results? Then you need to call us today at 344-4980 and put radio to work for you. It's fast. Place an ad today and have it on air tomorrow. Whether you're looking for hourly workers or to fill highly specified job descriptions, placing an ad on radio will help you fill these positions quickly. Call 344-4980 today and put radio recruitment to work for you.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. All quiet on Wall Street today. Daimler CEO says automakers will face a struggle until 2023. More delivery delays at Boeing. Those stories next.
As you know, my friend Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep of your life. He created the best pillow, and Mike created the Giza Dream bed sheets. Mike found the world's best cotton, called Giza. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. Mike's Giza sheets come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. Mike's latest incredible deal is the Sale of the Year. For a limited time, you will receive 50% off Giza Dream sheets. You'll receive a set for as low as $49.99. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listeners square, and use promo code Dobbs. There you'll find not only Mike's amazing offer, but also deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including the MyPillow mattress topper and so much more. Call 1-800-977-9152. Use the promo code Dobbs. Go to MyPillow.com. Make sure you use the promo code Dobbs.
No closing stocks to report on today since the major stock exchanges and bond trading firms are closed in observance of Labor Day. Normal trading will resume tomorrow morning. The chief executive of German automaker Daimler says he expects soaring demand for microchips will challenge the car industry until at least 2023. He adds all automakers will need to compete with the electronics industry for the limited supply of microchips. Ford and General Motors have both shut down some of their own factories for 2 weeks as they cope with shortages of chips. Those 787 Dreamliners from Boeing are being delayed again. The aerospace giant has been told by the FAA that new design issues with the jets need to be resolved before they're shipped to airlines. Please join Lou 3 times each weekday for his updates on the Salem Radio Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
In today's Ag Business Update from AgNet West, are we entering a boom time for U.S. agriculture? We'll find out more with USDA's Chief Economist Seth Meyer after the break.
AgNet West Radio Network, your trusted agriculture news provider for the state of Arizona, bringing local, statewide, and national headline news right to you on this radio station. Let our team of Danielle Leal,
Budget revisions put surplus to good use for agriculture,
and Brian German,
Salmonella outbreak report points to adjacent land use.
Keep you informed here, weekdays over the radio airways, on our Farm City Newsday podcast, or online at agnetwest.com.
Are we entering a boom time for U.S. farmers? Well, it could be in some regions across the United States. USDA's Gary Crawford has comments from Chief Economist Seth Meyer in this report.
The USDA is forecasting net farm income this year, the highest since 2013, net cash income, the highest since 2014. And remember, back then,
we were kind of in that boom period there in terms of very strong farm income.
USDA Chief Economist Seth Meyer, so are we now in another boom time for agriculture? Meyer says he's not ready to use the B word just yet. He says, yes, farm income looks really good overall.
But I also think when you look region by region, it is really the Midwest that is seeing the primary benefits. And that's because when we look at things that are contributing to cash receipts, it's being led by things like corn, soybeans, hog cash receipts. And those aren't widely geographically spread.
In other words,
this rising ship of cash receipts isn't floating all the boats.
Drought-stricken Western producers certainly won't call this a boom time, but Meyer says if you are producing corn, beans, and hogs,
it's going to be a pretty darn good year.
Again, that was USDA's Gary Crawford reporting, and I'm Danielle Leo reporting for AgNet West Radio Network.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you, and Johnny is in studio. My fact checker always sends me interesting information since we were talking about some of the political correctness of sexuality and all. He sent me a listing of defined 31 genders that New York City officially recognizes.
There's 31 now, huh?
There's 31. And I looked at the list. I am included. I mean, I found man in there. I don't know. They were so old-fashioned. I wonder how many fall into that. You know, they have woman and man. There were 2 of the 31.
The classics, we call them. That's what we call the classics. Yeah, the classics.
Yeah, I'm a classic. It's just weird.
It's just weird. Okay, let's. Can you name some of them?
Yeah, third sex is one of them.
Third sex,
and gender fluid.
Okay,
I'm just gender bender.
What's different than bender and fluid?
I don't know. I'm not, and I don't want to ask.
I do want to ask. So if a caller knows,
don't call me. There's actually drag queen.
That's a gender.
Yeah. And bigendered, as well as female to male. What? Does that mean that you've had a change, or you're pangender, trans person? Oh, and they've got woman, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they said the CDC and National Institute of Health or whatever also studying the list to incorporate it into federal law. Well, we'll see. Well, we'll have to get to memorize those.
I hope not.
I think everyone should. I mean, if we're going to go with it, that's fine. But I think everyone should wear a name tag identifying because it's going to get confusing.
Mm-hmm.
And
how do I know if you're a bender or a fluid?
And then what do I call you? I mean,
your pronouns.
Yeah, what are the acceptable pronouns that that go along with that identification. Yeah, that could get very complex and unnecessary all at the same time.
Let's just go back to the classics.
Oh, yeah, let's go to the classics. Absolutely. I'm gonna probably get in trouble again for this, but the intelligence community failed to find conclusive COVID origin. All of a sudden, Johnny, I'm really not trusting our intelligence community. Like, why do we have one? It seems to be a lack of intelligence community. Is it fair? Now,
after what happened in Afghanistan, I could definitely see why you would have that point of view.
And maybe I got it all wrong. Maybe the intelligence community is smart, knows it all, and they figured it all out. Either they can't communicate it, or those they communicate it to are not telling us the truth. But something's going on. I think we should disband the entire intelligence community. Just go away. Why are we spending money on the intelligence community? When they tell us that Afghanistan is going to be fine, they can handle the Taliban, and they actually throw it over faster than Germany went into France.
But did they, though? Because that phone call with Biden that got leaked, the phone call, he kind of knew that it wasn't fine.
Well, that would tell me that the intelligence community may be more solid ground than the political community. But right now, the intelligence community is getting the finger in the eye.
Yeah.
So President Biden gave the intelligence community 90 days to investigate the origins of the coronavirus. Well, that's pretty much well documented out there as far as, the evidence is well documented. Now, the conclusions are, somewhat skewed, but it's out there. Well, a report by the Office of the Director of Intelligence, National Intelligence, ODNI, found that officials were unable to rule whether the virus escaped from a lab or spread to humans through an infected animal. Well, I think the evidence out there has already proven on the DNA that it did not come from an animal. Okay, I'm going to repeat this to you. If the intelligence is listening, they have definitively said DNA did not come naturally from an animal. Got it?
I hope they did. I hope they're listening.
That's pretty well published.
That is. I think that is. I think you're right.
So they're saying, God, we don't know if it came from. Well, read some of the stuff that's readily available. Don't stop being cloak and dagger. Just read a book. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
When I get done, you're going to hang out and say that weirdo should be locked up in prison someplace.
Okay, let's do it.
Right? Okay. I say that Biden and all of his military advisors should be charged with treason.
You're not the first one to come up with that. But I agree with you. Yep.
Because they knowingly let all those firearms left there. And they could have hired bombers to come in and wipe everything out. And they give our military secrets, or, I guess secrets, to Russia and China.
Yeah. Oh, they left all the secrets. I mean, all the equipment that if you worked for the federal government, and if you were in the military or you worked as a contractor, and you sent a picture of a control board to some of this equipment they left, you would go to jail. We just left the whole equipment along with the instruction manuals on how to operate it.
That's right. I'm surprised they didn't leave technicians to help them.
Yeah. You'd go to jail if you did that. If you were, in charge of that equipment and you just, let me take a picture with my smartphone and send it to my friend. Yeah, you'd go to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
That's happening.
And the other one is, the other one I feel so sorry for South Korea and Taiwan, because they know he won't give them any help when, like, the invasion takes place in Korea.
Yeah, it's going to be the death of a lot of people because of this. I mean, this is going to impact. It's going to impact everywhere. Actually, Ukraine also.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And just think, how long will it take before we get any confidence with all of our former allies?
Well, I don't think they're going to trust us for a long time.
That's right. And this whole thing was predicated that Biden wanted to declare the end of 9/11 fiasco. The planes.
Yeah. Well,
it's such a shame.
We'll see what happens, but if you can get him taken up on charges of treason, I'm with you. Okay.
Okay. I'll
Thank
send an email out to my email list.
Send it out to
People
him.
saying
List Johnny's name. All right, buddy. Take care.
Okay, you take care.
Notice I didn't say list mine.
Yeah, I don't want my name on there.
Wait a minute. My fact checker is giving me harassment.
Do you deserve it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Said, speaking about Biden's call is a violation of national security, per the White House. Did I mention his call?
Oh, mention in his call.
Yeah.
I mentioned the call
earlier.
Yeah.
I'm going to mention it again.
If you're listening, this is Russ mentioning it again.
They'll never find me. These guys can't even find COVID.
Oh my goodness. Oh my. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, but that was the call they placed to that Biden placed to the president of Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You know, saying, "Hey, change the perception. 'Cause things aren't that, really, things aren't that good. Change the perception." And then he got on the mic or whatever and told all of us things are great. We don't have to worry about it. So, calls have been approved by the White House to be reported on. All reporters are asked to retract or retract any statements. See?
Is that real?
Yeah, that's real. Now, is it enforceable? I don't know. If they put the intelligence community on finding everybody that does it, I think we're safe.
Wow.
They'll never find us, Johnny.
Yeah, their comment about
They'll never find
the
us.
origins.
Well,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And what you were talking about earlier about the didn't come from an animal, people would study because it would take too long for the evolution for this virus to get to where it needs to be.
And Dr. J told us that like more than a year ago. When it first came out, because he's one of the guys with an electron microscope and everything. Said, nope. Actually, he got the information from a report that said it came from an animal. So he read the report, and he read all of the evidence, and he says, wait a minute, the evidence points to the other thing. And he called the author, and they retracted the report.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, because something about the RNA sequencing, like three of them in a row are moved or something, which does not happen in nature, and it has some kind of like little hook in it that makes it attach to the molecules in the body, which is done in the laboratory, usually for medications and things, to make sure that it adheres to the cells or whatever. So it's an artificial thing that was done to that.
Gotcha.
To that. So it did not come from an animal, but yet. I'm going to give the intelligence people Dr. J's number. Say, why don't you just call a guy?
Call him.
Shoot. They'd probably have him arrested. But they failed to find conclusive COVID origin. Can't even decide if it was through an animal, which I think biology's already decided.
Mm-hmm.
But they haven't. Klon Kitchen, a former intelligence officer, told Fox News that it's in China's interest to continue to bar access to uncovering the origin of the virus. In other words, the intelligence community is claiming we can't find it because China won't let us look at their stuff. Well, there's other things out there. If you just look at the published stuff, and that's David Archer, who had the investigation of the origin of the coronavirus for the Office of the Secretary of the State Department, thinks the problem lies beyond the barriers that China has erected, and argued that the intelligence community's investigation was lacking in nature. David may be right, and obviously he's a guy that sits in a chair in those offices and he knows what he's talking about. But I think it even goes deeper than that. I think it's one of those deals where Biden told him what the results are and said, now go find out that it's right, that these are the results, that it's inconclusive. That's my guess. I'm not there, but that's the way things look to me from where my vantage point of reading the articles. It's like you came with you just supported a preconceived notion.
They're predicting the signs again,
and David says they failed to eliminate further the previously declassified information. See, those guys didn't look at the declassified information. They were putting on a trench coat and sunglasses and hiding around a corner. All you have to do is read some of the declassified information, references documents released by then Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe on January 15th, 2021. He even told him where to find it. He said, Archer said that the declassified information indicated that workers at the Wuhan Institute who appeared to be working on coronavirus research under Dr. Shi fell sick with that quite possibly was COVID-19. And the people who are analysts have found putting the pieces together either too difficult, too painful, or too risky. I think it's too risky. And he thinks it's analysis paralysis. Too risky. I think you don't want to go up against President Biden, which he's a supporter of China.
So putting those, I guess, dots together, that kind of builds a picture.
But even though they said they couldn't decide whether it was an infected or came from the laboratory, the intelligent report further found that the virus probably was not genetically engineered. Well, every benchmark in there shows that it was genetically engineered. So where does the probably come in? And those guys just throw guesses out there now? They put the word probably? I would think they would have to strike that from their vocabulary.
Yeah, that's not definitely part of their MO is to use words like probably
and Asher even points out, David Asher points out, that the coronavirus has had few mutations, which it is. It's very few. These things usually mutate very rapidly. This thing has mutated a couple times, which is a hallmark of bioengineering, on top of all the other stuff that shows it's bioengineering.
Oh.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. That's why I read. But so our intelligence community, I think, is proven to not be that intelligent. Maybe I can get a job there. We'll be right back. AM 560, KBLU.
What you see out there today, that's our weather the next several days. No big changes. 107 today, mid-80s overnight. 107 tomorrow, 106 the high Thursday. To detect fever, COVID-19's leading symptom, it's critical to take an accurate temperature reading with the Exergen temporal scanner. It's the only thermometer whose accuracy has been proven in more than 100 clinical studies. Learn more at Exergen.com. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith from the Weather Channel.
PhD Professional Home Doctor.
It's a fact. Pipes burst, faucets leak, water heaters stop working. Hi, it's Mike Miller from PhD. But it's also a fact that you can turn to PhD to solve these plumbing and restoration problems for you. With PhD, you get skilled technicians, not people who learn while you pay. And since your home doesn't break on a schedule, you can call us anytime, day or night. Call PhD, the Professional Home Doctors, 341-911-1.
Hey, are you Flightline Mitsubishi? Yes, sir, we are. I hear if I test drive a new Mitsubishi, I'll want it. That's correct, sir. Okay, here goes. Ah, what are you doing? Testing my new Mitsubishi with this driver. No.
Test drive a new Mitsubishi. Not like that. Get behind the wheel of a new Mitsubishi at Flightline Mitsubishi today, and we're pretty sure you'll fall in love and be driving away in that new Mitsubishi very soon. Come visit them at 1350 East 32nd Street, Yuma, or online at flightlinemitsubishi.com. Flightline Mitsubishi. Drive your ambition.
The Arizona Lottery makes being together better. Whether it's adding a smile to your day, another game to play with friends, a reason to celebrate with family, or just reconnecting with someone you haven't seen in a while. The Arizona Lottery has been proud to be a part of your winning moments for the last 40 years. So grab your favorite ticket for a family member, a neighbor, a friend, and let's continue to play together.
Grown-ups devise a plan and follow it. Children do what feels good. Take responsibility for your family's future and get your estate in order. Call my friends Sean Garner and Adam Hansen, attorneys at the law firm of Deason, Garner, and Hansen. Sean and Adam believe in giving free education to help people make smart decisions about their assets and leave a legacy for their family that they can be proud of. Schedule a consultation today. Visit YumaEstatePlanning.com.
The Border Report brought to you by RV World, located on Gila Ridge Road. Exit Interstate 8 on Araby Road, then head west on Gila Ridge about a quarter mile. RV World, Yuma's premier recreational vehicle dealer since 1991, offering a large selection of new and used RVs. Here are the latest wait times for passenger vehicles in the standard lanes. At our selected ports of entry, Algodones, a 30-minute wait, 2 lanes open. It's 2.5 hours at Calexico West with 7 lanes open. San Luis, also with a 2.5-hour wait with 2 lanes open. Waiting on the update at Calexico East. Get updated border reports anytime at YumaDailyNews.com.
AM 560, KBLU. Johnny's with me helping me get in trouble. I appreciate that.
You're doing fine all by yourself,
Yeah,
but hey, if I could help.
I'm already being accused of violating Article 88 of the United States Military Code of Justice.
What is that one?
I don't know. I'm not in the military. But actually, my fact checker sent it to me, and he said, Uniform Code of Military Justice, Article 88, contempt towards public officials states any commissioned officer and or retired member who uses contemptuous words against the President, the Vice President, Congress, the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of the Military Department, the Secretary of Transportation, or the Governor or Legislature of any state, territory, Commonwealth, or possession in which he is on duty or present shall be punished as a court-martial may direct. That message is being broadcast all over D.C. and metro area regularly. Can you imagine the gall of those guys to do that? Like, don't you dare talk bad about me.
So
that's intimidation.
Yeah, intimidation. It sounds it's pretty intimidating.
Yeah, so, and, my fact checker's trying to intimidate me, tell me I'm in violation because all reporters are asked to redact and or retract any statements and all that stuff. And since I'm quoting retired military officials and stuff. Well, that's on them. I'm just a reporter. I'm a little guy. And the intelligence offices will never find me.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm as well hidden as bin Laden. It took him forever, and it took a helicopter. I'm not going to send a helicopter after me. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Mike.
Hey, Mike.
If you want to find out where COVID started, all you have to do is read Dr. Fauci's emails that includes data and originations. I bet you nobody even thought about looking.
Well, the intelligence community, again, they put on a trench coat and stand on the street corner and said, hey, you heard anything?
Is it raining?
I don't know. I don't know what are they doing, but you're right. Fauci's been writing about. Did you know there's been patents? And I heard this the other day, and I don't know how true this is. And I hate doing stuff I haven't vetted, but I'll do it anyway. Apparently, there's been patents on some of the COVID research from back to 2002. Yes. Now, can they start patenting COVID research? Which a couple things on patents. You can't patent anything that's natural. You can only patent things that have been changed.
That's in Fauci emails.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Well, see,
there's a lot. There's thousands of emails with documentation, detail, data.
So they've been patenting COVID transformation since 2002, and then they're wondering, gee, I wonder if this is natural. Well, anything they patent can't be natural because the patents won't allow you to take a patent on something that's naturally occurring.
You're on the right track. You're right on the money.
Yeah.
You mentioned Roe V Wade.
Yes.
That's never been voted on. It became a law of the land through court systems. I don't think the Democrats are that upset about whether you're pregnant or not. They're upset that Texas was the first state to push back against the court system. Well, that's what they're afraid of, is states saying, no, that's not that's a law out of the court system, not out of the Senate.
Yeah. The Senate doesn't have the courage to make a law like that, to make a law that would ban abortion or ban us stopping abortions or having government stopping abortions.
If they were to pack the courts or pick a judge that will legislate from the bench, the last thing they want is somebody like the state of Texas pushing against it.
Yeah.
But if I remember right, wasn't Roe v. Wade going back to when was it, the 70s?
Yeah, it sounds right. I can't remember, but yeah.
And Texas is the first state to push back against it? That's a lot of years. That's what they're afraid of.
I don't think they're the first state.
Somebody like that saying,
I think they're the first state that had success doing it, I guess, but they did it a different way. They didn't try to stop Roe v. Wade as much as they said, go ahead, but you can be sued. Okay?
Yeah. Mark Levin said that the liberals have gotten more stuff becoming law through court system than they actually got passed through the legal system of the of the Senate and the House of Representatives.
That's terrible, but it may be true. I don't know. Levin, I trust him. I think he's a pretty straight shooter.
Yeah, he went through and named them all off, and I just don't have a memory that's that long.
Well, no, it's going to be quite a few. Absolutely.
Yes.
No. Well, I appreciate it, man. Take care.
You have a good day.
Bye-bye. And that Supreme Court ruling the other day, which I think it was more of the people bringing case against Texas.
Yeah, so it wasn't like a direct ruling. It was just they didn't have...
You just didn't have a case or something to challenge that law. But the law is, in Texas now, if there is a heartbeat, no abortion.
Mm-hmm.
And you must put a heartbeat monitor on to check for it before an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So it puts it somewhere around 6 weeks. After 6 weeks, pretty much going to have a baby. In Texas. See, it only affects Texas.
And I'm okay with that because I think states need to have the right to be able to choose. People have the right to be able to choose where they live. So I'm okay with a state being able to...
But it doesn't make it illegal, the abortion. It just means you can be sued for doing it.
For doing that.
Yeah, and you can sue anybody that helped you, including Uber. If you took an Uber, technically, to go to the abortion clinic, you could sue the Uber driver for facilitating an abortion after the heartbeat. In theory, anyway, at least that's the way that it was explained to me. But so Uber came out.
Uber and Lyft
both came out and said, we will pay whatever that lawsuit is, which is wonderful. So I can't wait for somebody to take an Uber, get an abortion, because I want to see if they really come through and pay that off and how long that lasts.
Yeah.
That can't be cheap, especially since they said they'll already pay. The lawyers are licking their chops. like, look, we got guaranteed funds right here. We got funds coming. Well, so we definitely want to sue these guys. Like, please tell me you took an Uber or Lyft, and now you're having regrets, And that would be the fear.
Yeah.
Some birthing person may have a regret afterwards and say, that driver should have never taken me. The doctor should have never performed it.
And here's the thing. From what I've researched about abortion, there is a lot of regrets that the woman has after. There's been a lot of documented cases of regret. So that would make sense. And maybe that's what they're fearing.
Yeah, and Roe was 1973, so 70s was right. Again, fact checkers. But 1973. And I was in high school. I mean, I remember it being a big deal. I said, well, if I ever get a girlfriend, Which, but it was a big deal at the time. But even as a high school student, I didn't really think it was a good thing. I scratched my head. And I wasn't heavily religious or anything. I didn't grow up in, with my parents taking me to church on Sundays, but I still.
You still felt that way?
Yeah. I still felt a little bit bothered by it. Like, we just rubber stamped abortions for casual use.
See, I don't like that. I do sympathize with women when they feel like they're right to be able to choose.
Birthing people.
Birthing. Oh yeah. So when I can't do it. I can't even do it with a straight face.
What?
But I do sympathize with the women if they don't. They feel that a choice is being taken away from them. I do understand that.
Did they really have a guy get some kind of surgery so that he could have a baby or something?
No, it was a woman that became a man.
That had a baby. Okay.
Yeah. So
right.
And I guess a man means you have a beard and you know. So yeah. So there was a picture on some magazine of a man that's pregnant, but it was just a woman that had a beard.
So have we had a man that got pregnant that got an abortion yet? That would be a first.
That would be a first.
Yeah, we got a man that's pregnant that got an abortion.
This is just getting weirder and weirder.
Yeah. I mean, you could get your name in the record books, man. Work on it. We'll be right back. AM 560.
Explore the great outdoors this fall with Cocopah Casino. Each drawing, you have the chance to win great outdoor prizes, cash, or awards play. Drawings every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday through October 29th. On October 30th, one lucky winner will ride away with a 2021 Forest River travel trailer. Earn entries daily by playing your favorite slots and table games with your rewards card. For complete rules, see the Kokopah Casino Rewards Club. Winning is just around the corner at Kokopah Casino and Resort, South Highway 95 in Somerton.
Truckmates, Yuma's Fix Up Your Pickup Truck Store is Yuma's home for snug top shells and lids. Snug Top, designed and manufactured to the highest standard. Industry-leading quality and trend-setting design that protect and complement your vehicle. That's Snug Top. Truckmates is also your Line-X spray-in bed liner dealer. Line-X, #1 in America for spray-in bed liners. With nationwide warranty coverage, is now available and installed by Yuma's most experienced spray-on team at Truckmates. So protect your vehicle inside and out with Line-X spray and bed liners and snug top shells and lids at Truckmates. Truckmates is also your home for BDS suspensions, the highest quality aftermarket suspension lift kits, leveling kits, and accessories for 4x4 off-road truck and Jeep enthusiasts. And BDS suspensions are backed by the best lifetime warranty in the industry. BDS suspensions, Line-X spray and bed liners, and snug top shells and lids at Truckmates in its brand new building, same location, 32nd Street next to Lowe's.
Get your local news from a new local news source, YumaDailyNews.com. Now online at everyday at YumaDailyNews.com. We are the local news source focused on Greater Yuma and what's happening in your city, in your community, and your neighborhood. We're reporting on what is important in your universe. A new news source for all of Greater Yuma. Now online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year at YumaDailyNews.com. Find us online at YumaDailyNews.com right now.
The Border Report brought to you by RV World, located on Gila Ridge Road. Exit Interstate 8 on Araby Road, then head west on Gila Ridge about a quarter mile. RV World, Yuma's premier recreational vehicle dealer since 1991, offering a large selection of new and used RVs. Now the wait times for passenger vehicles in the standard lanes at our selected ports of entry, Algodones and Calexico East, both 45 minutes with 2 lanes open. Long waits at Calexico West, 3 hours with 6 lanes open, and San Luis, 2.5 hours with 2 lanes open there. Get updated border reports anytime at YumaDailyNews.com.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark back with you, and Johnny is in studio. What time? It's already 7:52. All right, I'll turn the phones on for a few minutes because I've had them off.
All right.
I was talking to you, Johnny.
I appreciate it.
That is nice. Las Vegas substitute teachers had to have a talking to. Apparently, it's not acceptable to tape a mask to a kid's face because they keep taking it down.
Whoa.
What kind of tape would you use? Is that double-edged tape, or would you use masking tape?
This is real?
Yeah. Yeah, apparently the kid didn't like it. The parents were upset for some reason. I mean, just trying to help the kid out, right?
Jeez.
Let me take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, Russ. I have a little bit of Second Amendment information if you have time.
I do.
Well, we got the numbers in for the National Instant Background Check System for August.
Okay.
And they are the second highest on record for August. So we're not quite as high as the record levels in 2020, but we're maintaining very high levels. At this time in 2020, we had 13.5 million sales by the end of August. This year we have 12.5 million.
Wow, that's a significant drop. But Dean, how high?
Well, it's 1 million, but it's the second highest year on record so far.
But how can we maintain that pace and that everyone's already got as multiple guns and wants them, and there's a limited supply.
According to my calculations and research, we now have about 476 million guns in the United States. Now, when I did a kind of a estimate about what a reasonable level for the maximum number of guns was that, market might might suggest that like people would probably want a pistol and a rifle and a shotgun minimum for 3, and then maybe a couple others for practice. And I came up with that the market probably would top out at over 1 trillion guns. I mean, 1 billion guns in the United States. Yeah, well, 1 billion, that's only 3 per person.
I was going to say, do you have 3?
I've got considerably more than that.
Yeah, we don't want you to say it on the air. The intelligence agencies might be listening.
Well, I'm one of they say that there's about 3% of gun owners that have somewhere around 40% of the guns.
Yeah.
I've been an aficionado and I've been a professional writing on it for several years now, so I have dozens.
Yeah.
And because that's what I do.
Right, it's like a stamp collection.
We are adding guns at a very fast pace, and I think one of the limitations is people can't get ammunition.
Right.
Or ammunition is limited because everybody is producing ammunition as fast as they can, but it's not meeting the demand.
Like
President Biden just put a ban on the importation of Russian firearms and ammunition.
Yeah, I just saw that, and in fact, one of the Corey at work had just got a bunch of 223 out of Russia before the ban, so he was happy. He was happy.
And the stuff that's in the pipeline is still going to come through. The ban only affects future applications for importation.
Yeah.
So, or stuff that might be, in process of whether the application has been approved or not. If it's already been approved, it's going to continue on. But still, the idea that a ban had been put on importation of Russian ammunition sparked a resurgence in buying, and so they're still limited. When I went into Walmart this year to look for Dove ammunition, and I have plenty, but I was just checking, and they didn't have any. Now, Sprague's has some, and I understand that some other outlets have them, but there were normally pallets of ammunition for dove season in Walmart. This year there weren't any, and there was no dove ammunition on the shelves either.
Really?
So we are in a bind for ammunition, and I think that may be dampening the demand for firearms a little. But since President Obama was elected in 2008, we've had like 168 million firearms added to the private stock in the United States.
Wow, that's more than most countries.
Oh, way more. Way more. The private firearms in the United States are about over 40% of all the small arms in the world. That's including military. So we have not quite half, a little less than half, of all the small arms in the world in the United States.
Crazy.
Well, I think it's just reasonable. Most of the demand in the rest of the world has been stifled by government regulations saying you can't buy, you can't have, you can't do. There's plenty of demand for firearms out there where people are not prevented from purchasing them by government edict. And this, firearms are only about 500 years old, personal firearms. Firearms that one person can relatively easily handle and carry. They a little before 1500, about the 1450s is when they started becoming available. They were one of the big reasons that the Spanish were so successful in conquering Mesoamerica. And I highly recommend a book by that's the only really extensive first-person account of the conquest of Mexico. It's called The Discovery and Conquest of Mexico by Bernal Diaz. It's been translated into English a couple of times. The 1956 translation is pretty good and widely available. And if you want to understand how Europeans conquered the New World, it's a must-read.
I take it firearms were involved.
They were. They were not the major thing, but they were a big thing. Because they were totally new. They were beyond the Aztecs' experience, and the Diaz rates them in effectiveness about the same as the crossbows that the Spaniards had at the time.
Okay.
And both were highly effective at defeating the Aztec armor, and so and then also the noise of the firearms was something totally beyond their understanding. The only thing close to the level of noise of firearms would be thunder from lightning.
So,
So, it was almost like the Spaniards controlled the thunder and lightning.
Nature. Hey, I appreciate
And, of course, they had horses. Horses were a big thing, too, and steel blades and armor. And the biggest thing, though, was that the Aztecs were such horrible rulers of the many tribes that they conquered that the Spaniards were able to ally with all the Indian tribes that the Aztecs had conquered in the area. So they had hundreds of thousands of allies.
Hey, out of time, my friend.
So it wasn't just the Spaniards.
I appreciate the call. Take care, Dane.
You're welcome.
All right, bye-bye. And we'll be back. Sorry, top of the hour. It's 8 o'clock, AM 560. KBRU.
From the 1 Hour Air Conditioning and Heating Studio, this is
News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.
He'll get a first-hand look. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Biden will soon arrive in New York City, where Hurricane Ida's remnants hit hard. Then he'll go to New Jersey, where 27 people died.
We're just honestly thankful. We're just thankful to be alive.
Her house in Manville among the many that flooded. More than 400,000 homes remain out of power amid all the damage in Louisiana. Now, the president and many Democrats blame climate change for more powerful storms. Fox's Rachel Sutherland has more live.
Dave, Republican Congresswoman Nicole Maliotakis says progressives are using the storm to push a $3.5 trillion human infrastructure bill, telling the Fox Business Network the House needs to take up a bipartisan bill funding roads, bridges, and rail.
We can actually have a meaningful debate and discussion and focus on the true infrastructure needs of aging cities like New York City.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said she won't consider the core infrastructure bill until the Senate passes the larger package on budget reconciliation, bypassing the need for Republican support. Dave?
Rachel, before the president left the White House, he was asked about Afghan refugees the U.S. helped evacuate.
So I plan to meet them. Yes. Well, they're all over the country, and I'll be seeing some of them.
Some Afghan allies remain in Afghanistan, along with about 100 Americans. Secretary of State Antony Blinken went to Qatar, focused on those trying to fly out of an airport.
Blinken addressed the issue, saying the State Department doesn't have the means to verify the manifest or where those charter planes plan to land. He did confirm a small number of Americans are waiting, but said the Taliban appears willing to allow those with proper documents to leave.
Fox's Trey Yingst. We've now topped 40 million COVID cases in the U.S. since the pandemic started, with infections in August spiking back up to January levels. Now in northern Idaho, 10 hospitals are so overrun with COVID patients and short on staff, some people admitted will have to stay in class or conference rooms and are being told they may not get the care normally expected when hospitalized. America's listening to Fox News.
Our cars will break down, and when they do, the repair bill can be devastating. Not anymore. You need Protect My Car. Whether it's a car, truck, or SUV, you can stop paying expensive repair bills. Call Protect My Car at 800-392-8795 now to see if you could qualify. Just tell us the make and model and get an instant quote right over the phone and get coverage today. For cars between 2008 and newer, expensive repairs for the engine, transmission, and much more can become a thing of the past. Call Protect My Car at 800-392-8795 now before your next repair bill hits. For total protection of your car, truck, or SUV and less repair bills, plus free oil changes, free tire rotations, and free roadside assistance. Just call 800-392-8795 now. Protect your car and your wallet. Call 800-392-8795. Paid for by Protect My Car. Restrictions may apply. Plans and costs for coverage may...
Morning News is brought to you by Sprague Sports on 32nd Street, Yuma's hunting and shooting headquarters and responsible gun ownership since 1956.
YumaDailyNews.com on News Talk 560 KBLU is brought to you by Half Off Yuma. Get our half off deals right now. Go to KBLUAM.com and click on Yuma Half Off for this week's savings.
Good morning. This is the news in 60 seconds. YumaDailyNews.com.
The Yuma Arts Center will be hosting a music festival this Friday and Saturday at 7. Tickets are available. You can find more info at the Yuma Arts Center Facebook page. Yuma's Most Wanted is now up on the website. Find out this week's roundup of suspects that authorities want to see behind bars. The rap sheets have been included. The Veterans of Foreign Wars will be holding a special 20-year anniversary memorial service of September
11th. Get more info at YumaDailyNews.com. And this Saturday, the Yuma County Chamber of Commerce will be hosting their Taste of Yuma event. It's reported that there will be over 100 vendors. The chamber says admission is free to the community. More info at YumaDailyNews.com. And a federal agency has named Phoenix the ideal location for Afghan refugees to resettle. Governor Ducey released a statement saying, as refugees find homes in states across the nation, we welcome them to our state full of opportunity and choice. Read more about it at YumaDailyNews.com. If you have an idea for a story, send them to newsroom at YumaDailyNews.com. I'm Andrew Caravella.
AM 560 KPLU. Russ Clark with you, and Johnny's in studio. You know, I started talking about that Las Vegas substitute teacher that taped the mask to a kid's face. Here's what happened. You know, the 7-year-old boy, he forgot to wear one when he got up during class for a drink of water. So apparently, I get the impression you don't wear one at your desk, but if you have to get a drink of water, you got to put one on. So she called him to the front of the room. Hey, Johnny, get up here. And then in front of all the students, you know, she pointed out that she taped the mask across the top of his face. Now, can you believe the mom was upset just trying to save the kid's life?
I'm upset listening to this story.
Well, if that happened to your child, would you have a talk?
I'm so upset. Just even hearing this right now.
She said, I was furious. She had to say it twice furious.
Yeah.
I was scared for my son on what kind of long-term effect it's going to have on him socially. The fact that the entire class was laughing.
That's horrible.
It's really bad. It's really
on top of the fact that you taped a mask to the kid's face, the shame and the ridicule that you put this kid under is just it's heartbreaking.
Apparently, though, it's not an isolated incident. Apparently, that teacher had a lot of tape in that tape dispenser.
Please tell me this teacher is no longer teaching.
Here's what the Clark County School District has said in a statement. We're aware of the isolated incident and are dealing with the employee through proper channels. That's it.
We are aware of the isolated incident. So that's a key word there.
Oh, yeah.
Isolated.
That wasn't an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get your panties in a bunch. Can I say panties now?
I think you can.
I can?
I'm okay with it.
Okay. I don't know if that's sexist anymore.
I don't know.
It shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's available.
But yeah, that's a heartbreaking story. The poor kids. That's the fact that the teacher even thought that was a good idea is just sickening.
Yeah, where does that come from? Like I can tape a mask to a kid's head in front of the class.
Gee.
For ridicule.
No.
Yeah. I mean, really, bully much? I mean, who comes up with that stuff?
Yeah,
what teacher?
People
what teacher would do
have
that?
been brainwashed or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's just one of those times where you're frustrated with your job and starting to show.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I see a crack. Something's happening.
Yeah.
Hey, get back to this abortion ban in Texas. This new law. There are the Democrats which are outraged about it. They're getting actually a religious sector that's supporting them.
I saw that. I saw that.
The Satanic Temple will fight alongside. Satanic Temple.
So I didn't click on it because I thought it was a parody. I thought it wasn't, satire.
No, it really is one. And it's the Satanic Temple stands ready to assist any member that shares its deeply held religious convictions regarding their right to reproductive freedom.
Is that how they frame? Is that what they say? That's how they
that was
frame
from
it,
the
huh?
spokesman, Lucian Greaves, said in a statement that we will not be intimidated into silence by an unjust law or an authoritarian state government. We intend to fight, and they're going to help the Democrats with all that. I don't even think they're in Texas. I think they're somewhere upstate. I mean, up in the country. Let me take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, Russ, what makes Texas abortion law different is that nowhere in the Constitution is killing babies constitutional. But there is no law that says you can't get one, and that's what Texas did. They said you can't get one.
And I thought they gave the ability to sue, and I haven't read the law. I don't know. I'm just read.
No, stop and think about how ironic that is. They usually pass laws to make you do stuff.
Yeah.
But there's no law that says you can't get one. Think about that a moment. Don't just roll over it and play like you understood it. And that's what Patrick is doing in Texas. He's making a law against getting a heartbeat abortion.
Right.
No one has done that before. Supreme Court only said you have a right to it. They didn't make the law. They just said you had a right to get an abortion. That's what the Supreme Court did. That was alive and well back in '73, because all my girlfriends were running away getting abortions.
Gosh.
Yeah. No, I mean, they ripped their bras off. They were happy. They go kill their babies. You know, I was old enough to remember all how happy the women were to go kill their babies. I remember that.
Oh, I was in high school at the time, but I remember.
Yeah, okay. Let's grow with the program here. Back in '73, the 18 and 20-year-olds are happy. The women were happy as hell to go get an abortion. How old are those people today? And they're miserable.
Well, they're in their 70s, yeah.
Oh, look at them.
Yeah.
When you see them at price, they're all dried up, they're prudes, and they're unfriendly.
Yeah.
So I'm sure those abortions bother most of them.
Maybe, buddy.
But, okay, I'll be 80 this month.
All right, yeah.
Now, nothing wrong with my memory. Now, yesterday, on your third hour that you don't have the program, I kind of listened to it. They were hung up on why we got into Iraq.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And you did the right thing. You just sit there like a bump on the log, just quiet as little Russ can be, as a mouse.
Yeah.
Because you would probably remember that Saddam Hussein put a hit on George Bush's daddy to kill him.
Yep.
Remember that?
I do. And he was bombastic and saying, I've got nuclear triggers, I've got weapons, I've got all kinds, I'm going to come get you. I mean, he was just a jerk. Yeah. He was shooting at our planes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I admire you for just sitting there.
I did.
Because I listened to the other two guys, and they were having a problem with someone differing their opinion. I'm going to tell you, facts has nothing to do with opinions. Facts are facts, and they stand alone. Opinions don't.
Yeah.
And but anyway, Saddam Hussein put a hit on Herbert Walker Bush. Put a hit on him.
Mm-hmm.
That pissed little Georgie off, and when he became president, he made it a vendetta to go in and get him. That's what the Iraq War was about. With a vendetta, the little George Bush is going to go get the guy that tried to kill his daddy, and I can't blame him. And even Cheney. Dick Cheney says, weapons of mass destruction. Everybody's got a weapon. Your pistol at home is a weapon of mass destruction if you choose to kill more than 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, well.
You know what it is. But anyway, but Colin Powell, his number one, his token guy, says, that was a lie. Remember, he said WMD was a lie. So Cheney and Bush made up the lie on a pretense to go get Shazam. The idea was to take him out of power. To get even. It's a vendetta thing. That's why we were in Iraq.
Well,
I'm sure of it, because I remember the back and forth. Remember George Bush sitting in that school classroom? What?
Well, and
he had the dumbest freaking look on his dumb ass face. I'm not a fan of your George W. Bush. I'm just not.
I understand that.
He was only there because of his name. Okay.
That helped.
He said in that. Pull up the video of George W. Bush sitting in that classroom when that Secret Service came in and said, "Hey, you took the World Trade Center out." He goes,
well, it wasn't a Secret Service. It was his secretary. It was his right hand right there, chief of staff.
Yeah, but this is kind of before cell phones were hot and everybody carried one, right? Remember, they didn't have Twitter and Facebook and all that crap yet. And George Bush sat right there and goes, Daddy, where's Daddy? That was the look on his face. Yeah. But anyway, have a good time today, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely right.
Yeah,
all right.
Take care.
Take care, man. Bye. Yeah.
That was lively.
That was OG, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was OG. But
I agree with him about something for once. That's great.
Actually, the Saddam Hussein, and I listened a lot. I wasn't going to interject on what was going on. It's the Decent Gardner Law Firm show, and I just want to hear what they had, what they were thinking as much as anything. But Saddam Hussein, remember how George Bush Sr., HW, used to call him Saddam just to make him mad. Yo, Saddam.
Yeah, I remember. I was a youngster back then, and my grandpa would watch the news, and
so there was no love lost there. And Colin Powell's the one that went to the UN and gave him pictures of the weapons of mass destruction. Colin Powell was all in on it, and then he felt like he was lied to later. Like a lot of those pictures, they went to the locations and found that they were defunct or not what they thought they were, but whatever.
If anybody wants to do any research, that's a great story to go research and how that all came about, from a blog to a New York Times article to our intelligence agency believing the blog to the New York Times article, and that it just built up energy. It's a great study and how things become sealed in our memory. And then it's like, yes, they have them, but it all started in a little blog.
Yeah, let me get back to my satanic temple.
Okay. Yeah, let's go.
Satanic temple.
This is just stranger than fiction.
It's in Massachusetts, so I was right. It's up north. So these guys are in Massachusetts. They're coming to the aid of Texas, so they want a little notoriety. And this guy, Lucien Greaves, who's the co-founder and spokesman for the Satanic Temple, so we tend to fight and all that, said the group argued in a letter to the Food and Drug Administration. So they must be really bored. That they need access to abortion pills as part of their faith because they use it in sacramental settings. What? No. And some stuff I don't want to, like, okay, just keep that to yourself. But they are recognized by the IRS as a tax-exempt status as a church.
Okay.
Really?
I guess.
And they claim they do not believe in the supernatural, nor do they believe in Satan, despite their name. What the heck are you then? Again, I'm not going to go find out. I'm going to keep a wide berth there. We're not going to go. I'm not going to go visit them. If I was in Massachusetts, I would not go there.
You wouldn't go? It's not on your to-do list?
It's not on my to-do list. I don't want to be there. But they're going to come to the fight with the Democrats.
This is just strange. I don't know, man. Yeah. It's hard to even give commentary on some of this stuff, how strange it is. I've seen the memes on there, like, you're on the wrong side when Satan comes to your help. I've seen the memes.
That's right. Satan is coming to their help. There we go. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Yeah, the Texas abortion law, that's really nothing new. Iowa passed that law in 2018. And then they found some federal judge in Iowa to declare it unconstitutional. But I believe it was May 1st of 2018, the Iowa legislature passed the exact same law. Matter of fact, I think I was back there then, and I called in and talked on your program about it. But that's not a new law. It's just, like I said, Texas just come up with it this year, 3 years after Iowa, and Texas law is gained a lot of ground compared to the Iowa law, but it's not a new law. Iowa said the same thing. If there's a heartbeat, there's no abortion. It's illegal, then it's murder. And so, like I said, I got a feeling the one in Texas is going to get shot down too. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know anything about Iowa. Everything I've read said this one's unique, but I don't know what makes it unique. I don't know.
Well, you must have forgot about it, because I remember calling in and talking to you about it.
All right, buddy. I appreciate the call. Thanks.
Yep. Bye.
And I just Googled it real quick. It says Iowa's abortion law is in 17 anyway, was after 20 weeks. This one's like after 6. It's a heartbeat law.
Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit different, but
yeah, I don't know. And there might be another one in 2018. I just don't see it. Oh, here it is. Iowa governor signs fetal heartbeat abortion into law in 2018.
Oh.
There you go. So there must be, something similar in that one, and I don't know what happened.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Black Cloud's right. I hope we didn't get that on tape. Seattle is poised to lose over 200 police officers because of COVID.
Because of COVID?
Yeah, because they're going to make vaccines mandatory, and there's 200 that at least have said not going to do it. So we're going to lose 200 cops in Seattle. The bad thing is they've already defunded them to the point where they're really struggling, and they can't get new ones to come in. So we're going to lose another 200, but I'm expecting that to happen. I'm expecting people they're going to be serious about this. I am not going to give myself a vaccine, people.
Mm-hmm.
Anti-vaxxers, they call them, which is a term of endearment, I guess.
No, it's derogatory.
It's derogatory?
It's very much so.
Oh, man, I'm going to have to go back and check it out with those guys that called me that. Let me take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hi, Russ.
Good morning, Joseph.
How you doing? You recognize my voice, huh?
Yeah, well, you're a New Yorker, man. You stick out.
Yeah. Well, you were talking about that little boy that was kind of taken advantage of there and made an example in front of his class there.
Yeah, taped a mask to his face, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you talk about full circles, things that happened over a period of time. I was 15 years old and was in the first class of a new Catholic high school. And it was run by the Carmelites, who wore the brown robes with belts around and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, to make a long story short, I was in Latin class. This is about 4 weeks into the September portion of the year. And he wrote a short sentence in Latin on the blackboard. And he asked me to go up and translate it into English. Well, I had no idea because I hated Latin, but you had to take it.
Right.
Anyway, I went up there and I'm hemming and hawing. And finally, I turned around and I said, "Father, I don't know it." And he was like a Brahma Bolus priest. And he came running up to the front of the class, and with 2 fingers in his left hand, he hit me across my nose and broke my nose.
Oh, jeez.
We had to wear suits or a sport coat and slacks. It was mandatory with a tie. I had blood dripping down the whole front of me, right? And they sent me to the principal's office, and they threw me out. They kicked me out of school.
For having a bloody nose or for not knowing Latin?
For not knowing Latin.
Okay.
And so I get home, and I had a father that was very physical with me all through my early years of life. And he saw the blood, and my mother was going, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I got kicked out of school because I didn't know my Latin." And my father gave me another beating, which broke my jaw.
Wow.
And I was incapacitated for a couple of weeks. And finally, they had to send me to a public school, which I got accepted in. But talk about full circle. Back then, in the schools, teachers had unlimited power over children. And to use physical things was automatically understood by the parents.
Yep.
Nobody complained. So now you come into the 70s and 80s, now the kids are a little smarter and learn their civil rights. And they're, if a teacher got physical with them, they would sue the school and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, this physicality stopped right into modern days. Now, with this COVID, it's giving teachers an excuse to abuse children again.
Yeah, and that's an abuse when you start doing the taping and stuff. I mean, it's not as bad as breaking a nose, maybe, but, you know, from all I can see, you had it coming, Joseph.
Well, you know, I spent from 3 years old to my age 17, I got beat brutally almost weekly by my father, okay?
Wow.
And it was for like coming home late for supper 5 minutes, okay? Now, anything, you said I deserved it. I didn't deserve that.
Nobody.
I didn't deserve to get beaten.
Nobody does, Joseph, and please take it as a joke, but that's terrible. Nobody deserves that. I mean, I can't believe a father would do that. That's just, I mean, it's out of my, you know, it's out of my scope of understanding why anybody would even do those things. But I know it happened.
No idea. Yes. I mean, my nose was broken 3 or 4 times. My jaw broken twice.
Oh, jeez.
Eye orbital broken. The rib is broken from getting down on the ground and being kicked and stuff like that. And I survived it all.
Right.
Okay? But the thing was, I made a pact with myself that if I ever got married and had kids, they would never see my hands abuse them.
Right. Good for you.
And I had 2 wonderful kids who never saw these hands go to work.
Right.
And I'm proud of that as a father and as a husband. Okay, but I believe that any teacher who abuses a child, whether it be mentally, physically, or verbally, should be fired on the spot. Because I was a teacher most of my life, and I had students that respected me only because of my love for them as persons, number one, and number two, they excelled because of my mannerisms and the way I handled them. Yeah. And they become productive people the rest of their life. Okay, so
well, you're fortunate it didn't corrupt you. Quite often, those kinds of abuses leads to a legacy of abuse. So, thank God you got straightened out in your mind. You know.
Yeah, when I was on the street at 17 years old, after the last beating I got from my father, I vowed that no one else would ever do that to me again. Mm-hmm. And for about 30 years on the street, I took care of business. Mm. There wasn't one person ever to beat me up after that. If somebody got in my face, I took care of it.
Yeah.
But the point was that this was happening while I was a married man too, but I never brought it into the house and used my hands against my kids or my wife. So I just, when I hear stories like that little boy
abusing the children,
yeah, that 5% of me, that anger, that chip on my shoulder that I got from being abused by my father all those years, it's still there. And when someone takes advantage of anybody, you know, not only a child but an adult, I kind of find it hard, if it's in front of me, not to step in and to eliminate it.
Absolutely.
One way or the other.
Well, I appreciate the call, Joseph.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for listening to me rant.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate
Take care. Bye-bye. What a good guy.
Yeah, that was a great rant.
Yeah, it was good. And too bad. I mean, you hear about people that grew up like that in a real abusive type thing. And for him to come out of it and be wonderful, I mean, gentle with the kids.
Beautiful.
It's a great deal.
Great story.
Doesn't always end up that way.
I celebrate stories like that. No, you hear about the cycle repeating.
Yes, it does. It can. But somehow he wanted to overcome it and get past all.
And it sounds like he did.
And not accept it. But in today's schools, they teach the kids, you know, watch the kids. I mean, the principal, I mean, the teachers. And I remember my daughter coming home from school one day, says, if you ever spank me or anything, I can call CPS. I go, wow. You know,
your daughter said that?
Oh, yeah, when she was in grade school or something, you know. She says, I'm going to call him because of something like that. And I went and got her phone. So I'm going to really miss you. You're a good daughter.
I'm going to miss you.
I am. I'm going to miss you. Call your mom occasionally or something.
Oh, man.
Go ahead. Here's the phone number and everything. Call CPS.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, she was a trying girl.
Sounds like it.
But it just made me laugh.
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
oh, really? Okay, let me go get the phone. Go ahead and call CPS.
Yeah.
But all your stuff stays.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's not your stuff, by the way. It's your room. Stuff in it's mine. You can take your clothes. Get you a bag or something. She didn't call CPS.
Yeah, that's you called her bluff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I would have let her call CPS. Oh, absolutely, I would have. Yeah, I would have done that. Get CPS in there and say,
get her the whole experience, huh?
Yeah, I would let her come on in. I mean, I never. I'm like Joseph.
Yeah,
I never would have. I never raised a hand on the kids. Whatever. Oh, but I don't remember. It was over something silly like I won't pay for her to go to the movies or something. I don't know. We'll be back. AM 560 KBLU.
Weather is brought to you by Ed Whitehead's Tire Pros, with 4 locations to serve all of your tire needs.
Very little in the way of any sort of change in our overall weather pattern, just sunshine and warm temperatures like you would expect this time of year. 107 the high today and tomorrow, 106 by Thursday. To detect fever, COVID-19's leading symptom, it's critical to take an accurate temperature reading with the Exergen temporal scanner. It's the only thermometer whose accuracy has been proven in more than 100 clinical studies. Learn more at Exergen.com. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith from the Weather Channel.
Labor is a two-way street. First, it's earned. Second, it's paid. In the air conditioning business, it just went up 10% again. I tell my techs, let homeowners know about the York factory parts and labor warranties. An out-of-warranty AC part costs many times more than yesterday's AC parts did. Ask your AC tech about our York extended factory labor warranties.
Give Air Central a call or just log on to ACUMA.com.
Contest rules for all giveaways and contests on 560 KBLU can be viewed and downloaded at our website, kbluam.com.
You may be right, I may be crazy, but it just may be.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark back with you. Yeah, Johnny had to take off. Something about parent duties and all that kind of stuff, which is cool. The phone number 344-5258. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Russ, Dr. Lee Merritt.
Yes.
See if you can get her on your program to coincide with the California Election Day, September 13th and 14th.
13 and 14. You wanted to talk about the California recall?
Yeah, I want you to ask that one question. What can we do to straighten this mess up that we got ourselves into? And is California, what they're doing there, helpful? To get her going,
Yeah, I imagine she would have an opinion on that. I mean, just knowing Lee, she would definitely have an opinion.
Well, it would be better than my opinion, I'm sure, because hers would be more academically correct. You follow?
Well, yeah, and polite, too, probably.
Yeah, and polite. Yes, sir. Yeah, should be a homogenized complaint. Comment. Yeah, but see if you can pull that off of 13th and 14th. That'd be Monday and Tuesday of next week.
I'll give her a text. I'll let her know.
Yeah. And given an incentive to coincide with the election in California, we'd like to hear her take on that and just let her roll. You know what I'm saying?
I got it. All right, buddy.
All right, you take care.
Take care. Bye. That was OG. Wants to hear more from Dr. Lee Merritt. And she was a wonderful call. Had a lot of talk, of course, about the COVID and all that stuff. And she's a physician. She orthopedic surgeon here in Yuma when she was in Yuma. She was an orthopedic surgeon for quite a while here in Yuma. And now she runs her own practice. I think she's in Iowa. I forget exactly, but should be. Hey, American Airlines is changing things on COVID, and it has to do with the FDA approval and with their employees. They will end company-provided pandemic leave for unvaccinated employees who become infected with COVID-19. So I guess if you've been vaccinated and you become infected, you get paid leave. Not if you're unvaccinated. the pandemic leave will only be offered to team members who are fully vaccinated and who provided their vaccination card. So you also have to show your card. And I am still struggling with this whole show me the papers thing. That we have to have the papers on us to show them that we've had a vaccination. I still struggle with that, but they're doing it. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Well, good morning. Nothing like a little show me your papers and a little intimidation to lose your job.
Yep.
You know?
That's exactly what it is.
Nothing like a little threat. You know? Maybe they'll like be putting yellow stars on people and shuffling people off to re-education camps, or not necessarily re-education camps, but for your own good.
I think those are next, though. The re-education camps may be down the road, but with this FDA approval, that's what's emboldening these employers now. Is that
didn't they fire? Didn't the FDA directors step down, and then they installed one that agreed with them, Walensky?
Right. There has been some changes and some. I think there's some from the FDA that quit because of this thing too.
Yeah, there were two more of their senior scientists. So we don't get the answer we want, so we fire the individuals that are causing the problems and install puppets.
Yeah, that's right. They cleaned house. It's too bad.
Yeah. So have a good day.
Appreciate it, buddy. Take care. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little intimidation there for the and it's coming. I mean, with this FDA approval, there's going to be more businesses that may start doing these kinds of things, and it coincides. That was the big rush to get the FDA approval. Was then we could do more mandating. Now, this airline says it's not mandating the vaccine yet. They say yet. But it's asking all employees to get vaccinated and submit their vaccine card by October 1st. And see, I don't know how the laws work on submitting the card. I don't know. That's a medical record that you're asking for. I know a lot of places have saying show it to me, but they don't make you submit it. Where they going to put it in your employee file? I don't think you're allowed to do that. But times may be changing. If they submit their proof of vaccine before October 1st deadline, the airline will reward them. The airline said it can no longer offer extra day or vacation in 2022 as an incentive, but it's offering U.S.-based team members who submit their vaccination card this window an extra day of vacation pay in 2021. So you get an extra day of vacation pay. So there's a financial incentive. What did Biden at one time say he wanted to give $100 out to everybody? Got it? I know there was beer involved at one time and some ice cream. Could have gotten beer, ice cream, and money. The other airlines like Delta, Delta announced earlier that unvaccinated employees would have to pay a surcharge on their health care plan of $200 a month. So it's going to cost them $1,400 a year to not be vaccinated if you're a Delta. If you're an employee of Delta, $1,400 a year. Alaska Airlines last week that unvaccinated employees will no longer receive quarantine pay for absences. So you're going to see more, and I think that pressure is coming from the U.S. government also. I think it's also coming, and of course, Biden has mandated it for all government workers, and I don't know how that's going to work out. Because there was a lot of government workers, and we've got a lot of them here in Yuma, that were not vaccinated. And, of course, there's been a real crackdown if you have a card that's not real. Now, in order to verify a card's real or not, I mean, it's just a piece of paper. It's been printed all over the place. And, I mean, by government offices or whatever. It's a CDC printed card or something, which I'm sure there's lots of printers that have printed them and all that. It's no big deal. Just like any other form, it's just a form. But to copy it, apparently, or fill it out is a violation of altering a government document. And it comes with, I mean, they put some stiff things on that. They're actually prosecuting that. Unlike, fake Social Security cards, fake driver's license, all those other things, which are easy to find out if they're fraud because you can check the database. There is no database on the healthcare card because it's healthcare and you're not allowed to have access to it. It's private, unlike all the others. But they're really cracking down on a thing. They're trying to make an example of anybody they catch. So be careful out there. If you decide you want to make a fake card or something, just know there's a big risk involved. And it's, which you wouldn't sound like a big risk. It's just a simple card. It's no big deal. But they've made it one. So be careful. I talked a little bit about this earlier, but CNN is being blasted for an article claiming whiteness will expand to be tan in a more diverse America. Whiteness will expand to be tan. I don't tan very well, so I didn't know what they were talking about. In fact, I don't tan at all. I don't think I have enough pigmentation to tan. This is a Saturday article, and CNN Enterprise writer John Blake. Whiteness was elastic in that its population become more diverse. So whiteness becoming more diverse. So I read on. White supremacy would adapt because being white could expand to incorporate new members if they have the right look. What the heck is the right look, I wonder? Don't ever underestimate white supremacy's ability to adapt. The adaptation that more radical diversity equals more radical equality is a dangerous myth. Radical diversity can function as a cloaking device, concealing the most powerful forms of white supremacy while giving the appearance of racial progress. Let me continue with that after the phone call. You're on the air.
It's me again there,
What are you doing there, Gilbert?
Well, you know what? I had a funny thought, a little humor. You know, with all these mixed races that are happening today, what's going to happen to those race baiters when they have nothing to complain about because we're all mixed?
It will not slow them down. It will not. Because it never was about race to begin with.
Well, I know that.
Yeah, so it's not going to slow them down.
But their narrative is
correct. I mean, they say it's race, but how can you separate race? I mean, and how do you define race? Because even people, Tiger Woods says he's Asian because his mom's Korean, but yet America thinks he's black, but he's not. So what is race anymore? Because there is no. We're a melting pot of all races, but now that's what this CNN article is all about, is to claim that white supremacy has nothing to do with skin color.
You know, back in the day when my sons would bring home that card, from school about your family, your background, and all that. What does your dad do? Your ethnicity. My son goes, "Dad, what do I put down?" I go, "What are you talking about, Junior?" He goes, "Well, I'm white and I'm Indian and Latino, so what do I put down?" I go, "Well, let me check that out." Well, that said, choose one. I said, "Well, son, you can't do that, so put down other than."
Yeah.
He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "Just write down other than." So he takes it to school. They send it back home. They go, "No, Mr. Hannon, this is spelled out incorrectly." I send it back to him. I told my son, "You tell him that I said other than that." Well, I had to go see the principal.
So you got called to the principal's office?
Yep. Because they had to fix it. So I said, "You know how I am, Russ." Yeah. I go in there with a big smile, and I said, "Well, explain yourself. What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, your last name is a Hispanic name." I go, "Okay, so we'll put down as Hispanic." I go, "But his mama's white."
Yeah.
And his last name is Hensley. So now what are you going to do? Well, with the culture, the fact that his last name is Hernandez, we'll put down Hispanic. I said, "Okay. So if you have a person named Smith and he's black, then what do you put down? If you have a Smith that's white and you have a Smith that's black, now what do you put down?" And he looked at me, he didn't know what to say. So I looked at him and smiled, and I say, "I stand corrected, other than."
Yeah. Oh, I don't. I know legally as an employer, we can't keep race information in a employee file. I can't put down that somebody's race in an employee file. That's not allowed to be put on an application or anything. I never even thought about it, but I thought schools couldn't do it either, but apparently they can, huh? They put down race.
You got to realize my son this is in the 80s.
Okay. In the 80s, okay. Maybe it's changed. I don't know.
But again, I understand why you would have ethnic background, because if you have two Smiths, one black and one white, how are you going to identify the one you want? So I understand that part. But because my son's last name chose for him to be Hispanic, even though his mama was white, I had a problem with that. So
yeah,
when they give you that card, you have to have multiple choice. And if you white, brown, white, black, black, white, brown, black, whatever.
Yeah,
but
it's also ridiculous, because at the end of the day, it all comes down to the content of your character, and that's exactly what the CNN article points out. That whiteness, what they call white supremacy, is actually what they consider an attitude versus color. So, I mean, I love the article. I think it's a radical, wacko leftist that's writing and trying to expand the term of whiteness, but by doing that, they're actually proving that it's not ethnicity, it's not skin color. He's more looking at conservatism.
Yep.
I know.
We all bleed red, white, and blue.
There you go, buddy.
At the end of the day, we're all Americans.
I appreciate it.
God bless y'all.
Take care, man. Bye. Yeah, it's. I think the CNN article actually goes a long way to show that it's all about what the left wants to label us, and it's not the right that labels anybody. It's the left that's labeling. It's the left. And like this John Blake guy. And he claimed that how whiteness was defined throughout history was a prime example of how white supremacy can adapt, citing the eventual inclusion of Italians, Irish, and Jewish people into the white race. They weren't initially considered to be fully white. Why do so many radical groups gravitate towards whiteness? It's due to racial hierarchy that places whiter-looking people at the top of the darker-skinned people at the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder. And I don't know who decides that. I mean, who decides you go up the ladder, you go down the ladder, you go up the ladder, you go down the ladder. There is no person that decides that. I think we decided ourselves. It's within us. We decide. It's our character decides. You can claim that you're a victim and say, okay, I'm a victim, I'll never make it, and put yourself down. That's fine. Or you can raise yourself up. I mean, there is no consistency. Every individual is individual. You can look right in our own community. Look at the high school down in San Luis, one of the most productive high schools in the entire state. It's almost all Hispanic, almost all first in the United States. I mean, their parents are Mexican, a lot of them, and a lot of them are first, into being citizens or whatever, and they do a tremendous job. So you can't say Hispanics can't keep up. Look what's going on down south. Hispanics do well based on anywhere, because people are people, is what it comes down to. And what this John Blake is pointing out as a whiteness is not agreeing with leftist type narratives. So if you don't agree with leftist type narratives, then all of a sudden you're a white supremacist, I guess. And he also predicted that Latinos would be the future of whiteness. Yep, all these Latinos are going to become whiteness. Which Latino is not even a race to begin with. It's more of a, just where you're from, not really a race. Claiming some have already begun to mark white on their census form. Heaven forbid. And that intimidation to identify as white could be too tempting for me to ignore. Yes, I think people would rather be considered white than to consider leftist wacko. Because those are where the racists are. The racists are hiding in the Democrat Party. They want to point out race at all the time. They want to condemn people, label people, and all that kind of stuff. And that's what that's all about. And that's why he says turning tan. So you can be a white supremacist now and not even be Caucasian. Yeah, you can be anything and be a white supremacist. It's just ridiculous to do. My fact checker Edward said Asian white racial mixtures are deemed to be the largest racist group today, per Rachel Maddow. See, Rachel Maddow, again, very much a leftist, And there was a college in California that did some survey to show that there was a disparity in the equity disparity. In other words, not all the students from all the races were getting A's. So they did an equity check on the grades, and the thing found out that it was balanced. It was balanced, which really perplexed them. They were looking for results that showed there was a problem. So what they did is they took the Asians. They said, well, what's the problem with them? Well, we got all these Asians in with the minorities, and they really excel. They're doing well in school. Put them with the whites, and they got their imbalance. So now I guess Rachel Maddow's right. These Asians are the next white supremacists, the next racist, because they don't know how to stay in their place and get bad grades. Yeah, those darn Asians getting good grades. That's how horrible is that? And somebody needs to do something. We'll be right back. AM 560.
Tax the rich, feed the poor, till there are no rich no more.
Arizona Marketplace is Yuma's largest outdoor market, open to the public November 4th, accepting all vendor applications now. Our clients are requesting products and services like RV repair, antiques, handmade items, flowers, clothing, and more. Call now to reserve your reservations. 928-328-1088 or visit azmktholdings.com. Arizona Marketplace, 3351 South Avenue 4E. Okay, that was a quick break. Yes, and Edward can confirm that the Asians are the new white supremacists. Yeah, we keep paying all this attention to the race, and of course that's the left that does it. And I'm pointing it out to mock them a little bit. It's just ridiculous. It doesn't. None of it matters, and we're such a mixed culture anyway. None of it matters. Biden spent his Labor Day, I guess, in Delaware. He's on vacation because, Afghans all settled and everything. I mean, we've already abandoned all the Americans we're going to and our allies and everything else. Just get over it. But he spent it in Delaware. Although we did get out of the house, he actually drove down the street. There's a International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers that was had a little get together so that he could go say hello. So he met him. He went down the street for a short ride in Wilmington and said hello to the Electrical Workers Union and wanted that the union members were the supporters that brung me to the dance politically. He brought them all sandwiches from a local Italian sub shop. I don't know if that's racist or not when you say Italian sub shop. Someone look into that for me. And spoke with one of the mothers of a union workers by cell phone. So he was there for 30 minutes, and then he took the rest of the day off. So for 30 minutes, he had to get a limo ride down the street, give away a bunch of sandwiches, and took off. And wanted everyone to know that he's pro-union. Well, we already knew that, Joe. We kind of knew you were pro-union and pro-abortion. Another race thing. Since I'm doing race, let's get it all out. Governor Gavin Newsom is in the middle of this recall, and it's getting heated, man. It's getting a lot of name calling and all kinds of stuff. Well, they want everyone to put yes, and are out there pushing to make sure that Gavin Newsom stays. To push no. And if Gavin Newsom is recalled, Larry Elder could become the very first black governor in California, and that's really a problem for the radical left, who thinks we need balance and race and everything. Well, wouldn't it be nice to be the first black governor? We need black governors. And normally they say, well, vote due to race, and then now this time they're having to say no, vote for the real white guy. that is a member of of actually the elites versus the black guy that brought himself up. So they do that by calling him the black face of white supremacy. I'll get back to that. Let me take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, Johnny, Russ. Hey, Russ, don't say anything. This is for Johnny.
Okay, buddy, go ahead.
Hey, Newsom wants to parole Saran. Who is that?
Johnny's not here.
Oh, he's not there?
No, he left. Yeah, he's probably listening in the car, but...
Saran is coming up on parole.
Robert Kennedy's assassin, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's hope that guy just stays in there and rots like he deserves.
Yeah, some say he was in. He's Palestinian, wasn't he? Was he a Palestinian guy?
That does sound familiar. Yeah,
I'll have to figure that out. But he with a .22 pistol, he assassinated with a .22 pistol in the kitchen. Because there was no Secret Service, at that time or whatever for presidential candidates, and right now they would have had Secret Service in this day and age.
It all came down from the cabal. Hey, that was my main point. Is are you familiar with pharmacy and COVID? Pharmacy and COVID.
What do you mean?
Maybe it's more probably in line with Johnny. Okay, so pharmacy. You know what? If you looked up the definition of pharmacy, it means witchcraft. Witchcraft, pharmika, from Greek, right?
Uh-huh.
So if that's true, witchcraft, does that make COVID a witch's brew?
Yeah.
So if you look at the word COVID, spell it backwards, and it means evil substance. So, isn't that cabal? That's cabal for you.
I have no idea. That's weird, right?
It is. Hey, that's it. See ya. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. I'd have to take a look at that. Oh, but getting back to Larry Elder, they had a little get-together there, and a state senator, Sidney Kamler, said... there's a recall challenger who thinks he might have an edge because of his color. But racism comes in all shapes and sizes, and we're not stupid. And then Melina Abdullah, professor at California State University of Los Angeles, started by saying that she didn't say his name, but I will. Larry Elder is a black face on white supremacy. Man, what hateful group. I mean, it just wants to, rather than talking about the state of California or the things in California that are possible with Governor Newsom and the things we can do, it's all attacks on race and then more race. Why can't people see that? I mean, that's all they can say, because you can't talk about Newsom's record. It's abysmal. But they love him because of his connection to Nancy Pelosi, and he's part of the elitism. He's connected to all the big tech and the big money guys, which is the reason you shouldn't vote for him. Well, the event was hosted by African American Voter Registration and Education Project. Yes, the African American Voter Registration and Education Project is supporting Gavin Newsom because Larry Elder is the black face of white supremacy. None of this is made up. You would think it is. Newsom says, I really want to express all of you that I have your back. This is an attack on our values, the things we hold dear as a state. Well, what values, Gavin, are you holding dear? The unemployment value? The shutdown value? Which value are you holding dear? That you're forcing everyone to wear a mask while you don't? So just consider the prospect if we don't vote no on this election. The California policies on climate change, labor, and social justice of elders elected. Well, so you're proud of your policies on climate change, labor, and social justice, where your gas is $1 higher than everywhere else. And social justice, what does that mean? That you can rob stores up to $900 and not get arrested. That's social justice. And the fact that we can have constant cities of tents and everything, and parks and recreational areas, and drug use on the streets with needle exchange, and no consequences for lifestyle. that's the what's destroying California, but they don't see it. They think that's a value system of California that they embrace. And we've got the African American Voter Registration and Education Project, which is an organization that is not going to support the black guy. I think that is awesome because I think it really points out what these organizations are. They've never been about race. This isn't about race. This is about ideology. They throw race on it to throw emotion into it, but it's all a lie. In fact, it's embarrassing. It's insulting that we've got to do something special for certain races because they can't take care of themselves is insulting. They don't see it, though. But certainly these kinds of things have got to point it out on what ridiculousness they're doing, and it's all about an ideology that they're supporting, and that's it. I'll be back. AM 560. Well, I mean, tomorrow, because my day's over. KBLU.